7 months later than planned, the 84th Masters tees off tomorrow at Augusta National. ESPN's Andy North.
The grass obviously is not as mature as it is in April, but they haven't changed the holes. You still have to play them a certain way. You still have to miss it on the right side of a particular green versus the left side.
Andy North on Key J and Z. Rain in the forecast for Thursday with possible thunder showers. ESPN's live first-round coverage starts at 1 Eastern tomorrow. Panthers running back Christian McCaffrey not expected to play Sunday against the Buccaneers with a right shoulder injury. McCaffrey now considered week to week.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all of your car care needs. We're close, convenient, and known for our guaranteed everyday low prices and excellent customer service from professional parts people you can trust. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts today. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
And off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
Love you, Matt.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
The Brain.
Hey, the brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tom Play. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day!
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Brain, what's up, man? How are you over there?
It's hump day.
I'm good.
Good. Paulie, what's up? How are you over there?
I'm all right.
Good.
Hump day!
No LSU game this weekend.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Looks like no more Myles Brennan for the rest of the year.
It's hump day.
We got Lane Kiffin taking shots at all the chickens that don't want to play.
Hump day!
We got Eddie BONINE in about 15 minutes.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
We got Ross Dellenger next hour.
It's hump day.
Hey, Brain, do you think Ross is going to say that we should cancel the whole season?
I 100% think he's going to say that.
Do you really?
Not really.
Yeah, I don't think
Hump day!
Russ Mitchell in hour 3.
Now he'll say it.
Hey, Brain, you beat me to it.
Oh.
Hey, Brain, do you think Russ Mitchell's going to say we should 100% cancel the season?
100%.
Toads McGo.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
All right, we got a lot to get to. Glad you're with us. It is a Whiskey Wednesday, so Taylor Calandro later. Okay, so Wednesday at Ogeron on the SEC Coaches Teleconference today, and he was asked here the morning after the LSU-Alabama game was announced that it's been postponed. He was asked point blank, do you know when you will play Alabama?
Your guess is as good as mine. I've heard a lot of things, and which I don't know. But whenever they tell us to play, we're going to be ready to play.
Your guess is as good as mine. The commissioner of the SEC, Greg Sankey, did today meet with media, and he said that he's not looking to Twitter for solutions on how to make up these games, although maybe he should. What I don't mind telling you, what we went through yesterday, of course, was a scenario whereby LSU and Alabama would move back a week to next week. LSU Arkansas would move to December the 19th. Alabama Kentucky would move to December the 12th. That is very clean and would work theoretically. Another proposal that would also work is if you move the LSU-Alabama game to December the 5th. That's when LSU is presently scheduled to play Ole Miss. You could then move the LSU-Ole Miss game to December the 19th. On that December the 5th date, Alabama is scheduled to play Arkansas. You could move that back a week to December the 12th. So all of that would, in theory, work. So perhaps we'll see how that goes. it's my understanding that, and Greg Sankey said as much today, that the SEC and the league's athletic directors have given agreement and approval to playing on December the 19th. That is the scheduled date of the SEC championship game. And like we discussed yesterday, the league is going to use that date for as full a schedule of games as it needs. And there's a lot of very obvious reasons. I know there's some confusion about this, about why you're trying to make it up, so let me try to explain as best I can. There are financial reasons, obviously, and I think that's probably from the league standpoint at the top of the list. You have duties to your television partners, and that is a symbiotic relationship. Obviously, the networks are going to benefit from having more content. Networks want as many windows filled as possible. If you're the SEC, you want to play as many games as possible to fill those windows because you benefit financially from all the games that you have on this buffet on TV. Individually, the schools would naturally want a gate and whatever they could salvage from that. And then competitively, if you're the league and you're trying to get a team in the playoff or multiple teams in the playoff for the New Year's Six, you position yourself best when you have a fuller schedule. This just makes sense. If you're going to play 10 or 11 games, you're going to look more favorably than teams that play 5, 6, or 7 games. I'll point out that the Pac-12 started last week with a 6-game schedule and no wiggle room. You've already had Pac-12 games canceled, so now they're going to play a max of 5, those teams. I'm not sure if you heard the news on earlier today on Wednesday, which is very significant. Ohio State and Maryland has been canceled. The Big Ten played an 8-game schedule with no wiggle room, and now the team that is their flag bearer, their prohibitive favorite to be in the playoff, now is had a game canceled. So Ohio State's 8-game schedule is now a 7-game schedule. So the fewer games you play, the less wiggle room, the less bargaining power you're going to have. I think that makes an Ohio State team less appealing and also leaves them far less margin for error if they were to trip up somewhere along the way. So for all of these reasons, the SEC is trying to work to fill these games. And I was asked yesterday by a buddy of mine, Josh Bertoccini, who does morning radio in Arkansas, when we were talking about these scenarios, which would involve moving either the LSU-Arkansas or the Alabama-Arkansas game. And he said, why would Arkansas agree to that? I said, first of all, you don't get a vote. This isn't a democracy. Second of all, because you have 14 member institutions and the league office, which are all committed to playing a full slate. They're all committed to working together to play a full slate for the same reason that LSU was willing to go play a home game in Columbia, Missouri, for the same reason that Florida, when they had outbreaks, affected Missouri and Kentucky and multiple teams as the schedule shuffled. It's just what you have to do. It was why the SEC was wise and how they built their schedule to build in flexibility for the inevitability of disruption, and so they've left themselves options, whereas other leagues are just canceling games because they have no options to make up those games. So that's where we are as of right now. My feeling, if you asked me today, what do I think is going to happen? I think LSU and Alabama will play on December the 5th. I think the LSU Ole Miss game will move to December the 19th, and then I think Alabama will play Arkansas on December the 12th. That means both Alabama and Florida, theoretically, would play on December the 12th, and neither would have an open date before the SEC championship game, December the 19th. And I think you're going to have a whole bunch of games on that December 19th playing date. That's going to bring up another really interesting question about bowl games, et cetera, because it would really not leave you any time for preparation for bowl games. But we'll have that conversation and cross that bridge if and when we get there. The other really significant news from Ed Orgeron today was an update on Myles Brennan, where Ed was asked for an update on Myles Brennan if he thought he'd return.
It could be. We're looking at the injury, and we're looking at see if he can come back through rehab, or if the best thing would do to go ahead and go through an operation that would help him out. So we haven't made a final decision. It doesn't look like he's going to be back unless some miraculous thing happens.
When the coach uses the word miraculous, odds are not good that something is going to transpire. The assumption here is that Myles Brennan is going to shut it down for the rest of the year, and LSU will move forward with Max Johnson and TJ Finley. I want to go deeper into this a bit later in the show, but at the risk of broaching on the territory of hyperbole, These next 5 games are critically important for the next 5 years of LSU football. I want to remind you, in 2008, when Ryan Perrilloux was dismissed from the LSU football team, LSU went to Andrew Hatch, who was injured, gave way to Jarrett Lee, who had a lot of problems with interceptions, who late in the season gave way to freshman Jordan Jefferson. And that fundamentally changed LSU's offense, their approach, and what they did at the quarterback position for the next almost decade. So, certainly until Mettenberger got there, so for the next 5 years. I will tell you similarly here, if Myles Brennan were available, he's your guy. We all understand that, but he's injured, and so Ed Ogeron is going to have a decision to make with Johnson, Finley, Johnson, one, the other, the combination of the two, and how they play ultimately will determine what LSU does next year, and then beyond that, because there's always going to be a domino effect at that position in particular. So we are going to go deeper dive here, but we're potentially looking at these next 5 games, and this is why it's critically important, as a scenario where, is this where Jake Fromm unseats Jacob Eason? Is this where Tua unseats Jalen Hurts? Is this that scenario where Trevor Lawrence unseats Kelly Bryant? Depending on how these freshmen play, Ed Ogeron is going to have either way, he's going to have a very important decision to make after this season with respect to Myles Brennan and these freshman quarterbacks. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you aboard with us here. We'll knock out a quick break. The LHSAA made a pretty big announcement yesterday regarding its postseason. We don't do a ton of high school talk here, but when it's something that affects the entire state, everyone has a rooting interest because everyone went to a school somewhere, has a kid or a nephew or something that plays. So when we come back, our friend Eddie BONINE, the executive director of the LHSAA, is going to join us, kind of fill us in on all the details there as we move toward the Louisiana high school football postseason. That's coming up. Urban Dictionary with Taylor Calandro in about 30 minutes. Ross Dellenger next hour. Russ Mitchell in hour 3. Ton to get to. Glad you're here on AFR.
AFR.
If you have not called River City's 1 hour air, why not? Y'all, just $97. You could drop $100 betting on a game. You could drop $100 on a nice dinner. There's so many things you could drop $100 on that will not be as important as your heater safety check. By the way, if you're a member of the River City's 1 hour membership club, this seasonal maintenance is complimentary. Like mine, I didn't have to pay for mine because I'm a member of their club. But if you're not, that's okay. $97. A technician comes to your house, takes a look at your heater, gets it running efficiently, and more importantly, cleans it, tunes it up so it's safe for the cold months when you're running your heater around the clock. Do not turn that thing on without having it checked to make sure it's not a hazard to your property and to your family. Just $97. 752-0001, 752-0001 for River City's 1 hour air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Hello?
What's up, E? What you doing?
Chilling at the office working. You?
Hanging at the job site. Chilling.
Roof's up?
Hey, Greg, roof up? Roof's up! Roof's up!
Roof's up!
Roof's up?
Roof's up!
Roof's up! Roof's up! Beautiful roof every single time.
True. True.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
$10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Ford F-150 XLT. Buy a new one for less than a used one. All new Bayou Ford vehicles come with a 1 million mile powertrain warranty. And with Bayou to You, free delivery right to your door. The crew at Bayou Ford is going to do right by you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Great news for high school football. The Louisiana High School State Championship going to be in the Superdome this year. That was decided by the executive committee, the LHSAA. Yesterday, the executive director of the LHSAA, Mr. Eddie BONINE, good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Eddie, thanks for the time. How are you?
Matt, I'm doing fine. How about yourself?
Doing really well. Thanks so much. Was yesterday a previously scheduled meeting, or was that called specifically for the purpose to talk about football championships?
Previously scheduled. We had some other items we need to attend to, specifically not only football, but setting the agenda for the annual convention that comes up. We normally have in January, which is a protocol we normally go through. But one of the biggest topics, of course, yesterday was what we were going to do at the Prep Classic.
Okay. How much of that throughout the course of this season has been fluid for you all? How much has that changed because of all the COVID protocols?
We've been, you're very familiar with what goes on with COVID, Matt, and through the course of the last 6, 7, 8 weeks, including dating all the way back to June. It's been a situation with, sometimes it's day to day, sometimes it's hour to hour, week to week. But in the grand scheme of things, since June, the kids, the athletes, the coaches, the athletic trainers, any of the sports medicine personnel, even the regional medical people that are assigned to the process, have all done an incredible job, right up to the administration. They wanted to do where we are and get where we are today. And I think that was the focus all along. And we wanted to be patient. And I felt as though the association needed to be patient because I believe that there was enough anxiety to go around more than once out amongst our membership in schools and students. And you witnessed it from afar, watching not only with the athletic piece, but also just the students getting back into class and getting into some kind of routine. But our executive committee, the coaches and all that were involved in what we did in the spring, having to shut everything down, we remembered that the feeling we all had when those athletes didn't get an opportunity to participate in the spring, weren't able to go through commencement exercises, and those who are not seniors now could be seniors, juniors, sophomores that matriculated up. We remembered that, and we want to do the best we could to make sure that they didn't have that feeling again. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed, my friend, on how as we move forward here, as we work toward not only volleyball championship starting tomorrow at the Pontchartrain Center, cross country next week in up in Natchitoches, and then swimming in Shreveport, and then working our way to the Superdome.
Football is obviously the high-profile sport. Has the LHS member institutions had major sweeping issues in any of the other sports?
We have not. We have not, and nationally with football, Matt, last I knew, 2 weeks ago, there had been no COVID-related hospitalizations or deaths of student athletes at that age that were football players. If you could just keep them in the bubble, right? You could just keep them in a spot. We're not getting a lot of COVID transfer there, but because of the contact tracing and there are some the COVID may be being brought in from outside the programs. We've had scenarios. We've had week one of our season, we had 11 schools. All the way through, we've had 11, 14, 13, 18. We've been averaging about 13 a week. Last week, we spiked to 28. But our director of the Coaches Association has worked collaboratively and tirelessly to try to match schools up so they didn't have voids in their schedules, so we could get as many games in as possible. And we've made it happen. I mean, everybody involved has made it happen to this point.
It really has been cool to see the flexibility a lot of schools. I obviously, you know that I went to Catholic and I pay attention.
Yep.
We carry their games here. Like for Catholic and Ruston to get together on short notice and go play up at Grambling was, I mean, what a thrill for those student athletes. I'm sure there are situations like that all over the state that have transpired. So
there has been, Matt, and again the collaboration with all the schools involved, competitive balance, trying to get in games, knowing that maybe competitively they probably shouldn't be playing with this school, but they do anyway, and the coaches with agreement, they don't run up the score. They try not to. I mean, it's been just and I guess the silver lining of this has been just the collaboration amongst all the coaches across the state, trying to get to the same goal, and that's to try to get in this season, which we're close to doing, and then adding postseason to it. Man, it's a cool thing.
Okay, so let's go to the postseason. Eddie Bonine's our guest, executive director of the LHSAA. The executive committee met yesterday. When I look at what transpired, Eddie, it looks like there was no change. I mean, is that a sense? Am I misreading this, or was there just no change to what the usual format is?
There was no change to the usual format. We didn't want to get a lot of extra moving parts and having to waive portions of the Constitution and bylaws. We stuck to it. The elephant in the room, and I'll bring it up now because I know you're probably going to go there, is if there is COVID-related issues where a team, once they've been able to isolate or do some contact trace and they get the medical personnel involved, if they have COVID and can't play, they're taken off the bracket and we move on. That's, I think, the biggest part of it. But then, of course, if you know, as we're covering college like you do, that's going on in a lot of the conferences across the nation. It's just it's a postponement. It could be a cancellation. But at the end of the day, we're going to try to do what we can to get that piece in place. And that's what was passed yesterday. So you are correct in your assessment. There was not a lot of change there, other than the fact that if you get COVID, you can't play. We got to move on.
Is there any wiggle room with the contact tracing element?
There has been with some, but you know what? It's, for example, what happened with LSU. Not every player has COVID, but because there was a certain number of players that did, and a decision was made. But the same with high schools. There is some contact tracing, and there's a lot as we move to the postseason. And I think the coaches have done a really good job with it, because here's what I've heard from coaches: is that actually the COVID in situations where they've had to sit for 14 days, they've been able to do some personnel stuff, but they've also been able to work with lower level programs, lower level students and their programs that they normally wouldn't get to work with. So they've been able to establish more hats, if you will. So if they do have an issue, they have some athletes like the next man up and the next kid up, if you will. So there's a little wiggle room there. But bottom line is, if they can't compete, they can't compete. And they collaboratively with the medical personnel will make those decisions.
So that 14-day contact tracing period, but there's no wiggle room there. If you're in direct contact with someone who is COVID positive, 14 days, even if you can produce a negative test, you're out.
Well, that's going to be a decision that's going to be made by the medical experts in the area, and there has been some of that going on. And I think as we move closer to the championships, there's more scrutiny on that, because, as I mentioned yesterday in the meeting, Matt, there has been some speculation that maybe this student did or did not. But you have to understand, unlike maybe at the next level, is that any COVID-related items that you have, those athletes are students first. And there's protocol in place where every day schools have to report into a school portal to LDH, Louisiana Department of Health, of how many COVID-related incidents or cases they have. So there's another check and balance there as well. So it's going to be a tight fit. I wouldn't use the word wiggle room, but it's going to be a tight fit on what they can and can't do.
Okay. Last thing, all of the championships will be at the Superdome this year?
We did. We wanted to ensure that even the select schools who had gone out on their own and was going to do their own, those principals are members of this association and have enough to do on a daily basis of trying to get their students back in class, guiding instruction, multiple educational platforms. The last thing they needed to do is do what we do, which we feel we do a good job with, and that's organize and structure our postseason play. We voted, the membership voted, the select schools voted. Everybody's back together. 9 football games. The Saturday starting after Christmas for 3 consecutive days. We're going to get it done and do the best we can with it, and just pray we don't have any COVID-related items.
So December 26th to 28th, so that's a Saturday, Sunday, Monday?
That is correct.
Okay, so December 26th to the 28th, the Louisiana, the LHSAA Prep Classic in the Superdome. Will fans be allowed, or do we know that yet?
As we progress, we keep an eye on what's going on with the Saints, because also know that we are sandwiched between a Saints football game on Christmas Day and the Sugar Bowl directly behind us, and those dates as well going into New Year's Day. So we're going to be sandwiched in between there. Whatever those limitations are, we're going to adhere to it. But I've had numerous conversations with the management group of the Superdome. They've crossed every T and dotted every I to get where they are with what they're doing with the Saints. And as the Saints, no pun intended here, go marching on through the rest of the season, it'll be laying the groundwork for what we're going to do at the LHSAA. And we're looking forward to collaboratively working with not only the Orleans government, but also what's going on with SMG, the management company for the Superdome.
Well, I do love a good pun. So your puns are welcome here anytime, Eddie. Eddie BONINE, Executive Director of the LHSAA. Good news. Thanks so much for a few minutes.
Hey, Matt, before I go, one
yes,
last
sir.
thing. I do want to give a shout out to the Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, Kate, Todd, and Jimmy, for what they've done for us over the years and what they continue to do. And they do a great job. We appreciate them.
Well said. Appreciate that. Thanks, Eddie.
Talk to you later, man.
Okay. What he's referencing there, if you're not familiar, Cade Wassan, Todd Black, Jimmy Roy, they've done an awesome job, not just with Louisiana Prep Scoreboard, but with the preview show and Louisiana Prep Weekly. There's just never been – there have been a lot of prep shows around our state. There's never been any that's been that intensively focused on shining a light on all prep sports in our state, not just football. So those guys do an awesome job. So if you're not familiar following us on Friday nights during football season, it's Louisiana Prep Preview. Cade previews basically every game around the state. And then it's generally Catholic High on Friday night, although this week Catholic and Acadiana are playing on Saturday at Memorial. I really do applaud all of the schools that have found a way because, listen, I mean, you heard Eddie say it. If I'm not mistaken, his quotes in the spring was something to the effect of it was the worst moment of his career, having to cancel spring championships, because you exist as an organization, as a body, to organize championships for these events. And listen, so many of you listening, you're like me and you played some high school sport likely, and that's the last level of athletic competition that so many of us ever get to participate in. And it's a finite amount of time. You only get to do it once. And so for the seniors last year who didn't get to participate, that's devastating. They'll never get that opportunity again. So for so many of the coaches and the administrators that have found a way for these student athletes to have a season, I applaud them. It's just because at some level, everyone listening, you can relate. Either you played, you have a child that plays, a niece or a nephew that played. You know what I mean? Like, we can all relate at some level. We all went to school somewhere. We can all relate at some level the importance of letting these young people have a season. So I applaud everyone who's gone to great lengths to try to ensure that these seasons happen at whatever length and extent they can. So kudos to Eddie BONINE and the folks over at the LHSAA and all the coaches and administrators from schools all over the state of Louisiana for making this season happen, not just in football, but in all fall sports. Okay, it's after further review. A quick break. We will go around the SEC when we come back. Another SEC game canceled this week or postponed this weekend. And Lane Kiffin doing what Lane Kiffin does, taking jabs at other SEC schools or just other coaches and fan bases. You know my feeling. I want press conferences to feel more like professional wrestling, and Lane Kiffin obliges, and I love him for it. We'll get to that when we come back. Glad you're hanging out with us here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by our friends over at Carriages in Bocage and carriagesbr.com. Mark the date. This Friday and Saturday, the Stenstrom's Trunk Show is going on at Carriages in Bocage. How about this deal? Buy 3, get 1 free. Buy 3 shirts, 3 Stenstrom shirts this weekend at Carriages, get 1 free. The Stenstrom's rep will be on site. It's that time of year, y'all. It's that time of year where All of the fall apparel is hitting the shelves. It's time to transform your wardrobe into those fall colors, and Carriages will certainly oblige. The shirt I'm wearing today is a Mizzen and Main shirt from Carriages in Bocage. Go find yours. If it's Mizzen and Main or if it's Stenstrom's with the trunk show coming up this Friday and Saturday, buy 3, get 1 free at Carriages in Bocage. If it's the luxurious neutral colors, if it's beige or winter white, gray, camel, they've got it all at Carriages in Bocage. The Stenstrom's Trunk Show, Friday and Saturday at Carriages.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make that thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
In an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Yeah, I'd be remiss if we went any further without wishing all the veterans a very happy Veterans Day, November the 11th. For all those who serve to allow us the freedoms that we enjoy on a day-to-day basis, including the freedom we all enjoyed last week, the right to vote, the right to a free society, everything that we enjoy, freedom of speech, we owe to our veterans. So to all those who served in every branch, a very sincere salute and thank you from all of us. And I have to mention names. I mean, if y'all got veterans you want to mention, I'll give them a shout-out. Shoot me a tweet or a post in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat, or email me, Matt at 1045espn.com. A salute to all of our veterans here on this Veteran Day, including my dad who's a Navy vet. So we appreciate all veterans who have served us. So I love Lane Kiffin in the SEC. If you've listened to me for any length of time, I've often said that I wish sports press conferences were more like MMA or boxing or professional wrestling, where it's less PC and more bold, more in your face. It's more of a show. You're promoting, you're selling that fight, that event. Which is why, and it's so uncommon in the rest of the sports world, that when someone comes along who takes that tact, they always get our attention. It's why Steve Spurrier is so legendary in that respect, because he would call Florida State Free Shoes University. Or regarding Tennessee, you can't spell citrus without UT. We all know him. I mean, it's just talking about Georgia. They'll always have a couple of guys arrested for the game. I mean, it was just always something. He was there to needle you, to jab you. And it's why we paid attention. It's why you love to hate him. It's why beating him felt so much better. He made it more interesting. He made it more fun. I'm not here for diplomatic PC drivel in press conferences. It's a waste of time. Give me something. So today, when Lane Kiffin was on the SEC coaches teleconference and was talking about his COVID-19 numbers, saying somehow we tested Monday and Tuesday, somehow we had all negative tests, which was great. I was very concerned with everybody gone for the whole weekend and not being around. So for all the teams that had buys, typically you allow the players to go home and they disperse and they're not in your sort of mini bubble. And so that's clearly what's happened here in the SEC and around college football with this spike in numbers. It was Halloween 2 Saturdays ago. A lot of players went to Halloween parties. Some went home for bye weekends, and when they were home, they were with their friends. They went out, and we see this little COVID bump. So that led Lane Kiffin, though, looking around the conference and seeing already 4 games postponed this weekend in the league, which got Auburn and Mississippi State, LSU, Bama, Tennessee, Texas A&M, and now today Georgia and Missouri has been postponed as well. It led Lane Kiffin to say, quote, I guess injuries are counting in those numbers that people can't get out of playing, that people can get out of playing. I don't know. Maybe some people don't want to play. Maybe their season's not going so good. So who knows? You realize, LSU, that Lane Kiffin just pointed his finger right in your face and said, chicken. He's not wrong either. Now listen, to be very clear, LSU is a giant underdog against Alabama, and they will be when they play, and justifiably so. I also understand why the protocols are in place, the minimum standards that the SEC has put into place, because you don't want a scenario where you've got a punter playing tight end or a running back playing quarterback. I mean, you understand, right? And some of those scenarios are very likely to unfold, where you say, hey, wide receiver, can you go play cornerback and try to cover a future top 15 pick? I get it. I get it. But injuries happen every year. And some teams just aren't ever as good as other teams. Sometimes you got to take your whipping. Reschedule the game, though. Looking forward to seeing LSU Bama. My guess is it's going to happen on December the 5th, and LSU Ole Miss goes to December the 19th. That's my guess how it'll all transpire, at least tentatively, with everything up in the air based on how it may change between now and then. All right, it's After Further Review, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com. We'll tell you more about South Point Volkswagen. Of course, brings us our segment with Russ Mitchell every single Wednesday. In the meantime, we do it every day about this time. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products, excellence in imaging solutions. The Georgia Bulldogs.
Just let this one slip, but by now you probably already know that Georgia's game at Missouri on Saturday, it's been postponed because of a combination of COVID positive tests, contact tracing, quarantine, all that sort of stuff. That's within the Mizzou program. It's now the 4th SEC game in 3 days. It's been impacted by COVID-19. Mizzou has a game tentatively scheduled already for December the 12th. So the opportunity to reschedule that Georgia-Missouri game is going to need to be evaluated. The league has said, though, they are willing to play games on December the 19th, which is likely when this game would be played, provided Georgia isn't in the SEC championship game, which at this point seems unlikely with 2 losses, including one to Florida. Football program had 1 positive test Sunday that led to subsequent contact tracing individuals within a specific position group, which led to this postponement. So again, 1 player test positive, but the contact tracing is what's put this whole thing on the shelf.
The Alabama Crimson Tide.
Meanwhile, in Tuscaloosa, LSU's scheduled opponent this week, Nick Saban said they had just 1 positive test this week. That's it. Alabama's game set for Saturday at LSU, of course, was postponed after the Tigers fell below the roster requirements due to positive tests and contact tracing. So Nick Saban, last week with the bye, did allow his players to go home after they were idle for the first time this season, came back with just 1 positive test.
The Florida Gators.
Tight end Kyle Pitts, his status has not changed since Monday. Pitts is still questionable for Saturday's game against Arkansas. Dan Mullen said on the SEC teleconference on Wednesday, Pitts is in the concussion protocol ever since the Gators win over Georgia. So if Kyle Pitts can't go on Saturday, that means that 2 players, Kamor Gamble and Keon Zipperer, will take over at tight end for the Gators.
The Auburn Tigers.
And an Auburn linebacker has entered the NCAA transfer portal. Redshirt sophomore Josh Marsh. He opted out of the season back in August and then went into the transfer portal on Tuesday. Marsh was a 3-star member of Auburn's 2018 signing class, played 2 games for Auburn as a redshirt freshman last season. He will finish his career elsewhere. All right, there you have it. That is Around the SEC, presented by Gulf Coast Office Products. Shout out to our guy Trey Beal and our friends at Gulf Coast Office Products, online at gcopnet.com. gcopnet.com for Gulf Coast Office Products. You need your business to stay more efficient? Gulf Coast Office Products can help. Actually, I had lunch earlier today with Trey Beal from Gulf Coast Office Products. Awesome dude. Face-to-face sales with Trey Beal. If you so choose, service after the sale. That's what they provide at Gulf Coast Office Products. Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Mandeville, and Lafayette. Gulf Coast Office Products. All right, y'all, it's after further review. We'll knock out our final break of hour number 1. Taylor Calandro joins us next on a Whiskey Wednesday. You're heading into this weekend. Fall is here. If you have your fall booze questions, whatever they may be, fire away. You can join us on Twitter at Matt Moscona. You can jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat on the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel. Or you can jump on Facebook as well. I had a post earlier calling for questions on my Facebook page at Matt Moscona AFR if you want to check it out. And the good news is that apparently, just check Calandro's Twitter, we have all the deets that you need for the Rare Whiskey Raffle. Get your pappy, y'all. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
Take 60 seconds. Tell you about the Baton Rouge General Hospital, brgeneral.org, where yesterday fired up to announce that yesterday the Baton Rouge General's Ascension location on 73 is open. I think I said 74 yesterday. My apologies to that. Thanks to those of you who corrected me. Just slip of the tongue. On 73, right before, if you're coming from Airline, coming up 73 toward the interstate, it's on the right before you get to the interstate. And if you're on I-10 between 73 and Highland Road, you can see the Ascension Neighborhood Hospital right there. They have an emergency room as well. So if you live in Ascension now, world-class care is even closer to you than ever, thanks to the Baton Rouge General's Ascension Neighborhood Clinic there on Highway 73 near I-10. brgeneral.org, brgeneral.org. That's where you can learn more about all the different services that they offer at the Baton Rouge General Hospital and how they are expanding care in the greater Baton Rouge area. brgeneral.org. Virtual visits are available. Check them out. brgeneral.org.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your...
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
They're the gang with the slang. This is Bourbon Dictionary with Matt Moscona and Taylor Calandro.
Whiskey Wednesday, and it is whiskey drinking weather. Well, it's really whiskey time of year. The weather in the 80s isn't too great for it, but we can trick ourselves into believing it. And the Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffles around the corner as well. Taylor Calandro joins us on Wednesdays, answer all your booze questions. What's up, man?
Not much. It is definitely not whiskey weather right now.
I know. Wouldn't you think, like, by the time you get to mid-November and you're watching football, like, it's the perfect time to be drinking whiskey?
It is nasty today. It's muggy.
But a few weeks ago, the day, Halloween, as a matter of fact, Halloween was perfect. That
Halloween
night,
was perfect.
Lit a fire outside, had the Georgia-Bama game on, had some Hancock Reserve, part of the Buffalo Trace Mash Bill 2. It was, that was like picturesque whiskey weather.
It was beautiful on Halloween.
I know.
I wish we still had that weather.
I know. Well, it's soon to return. All right, if you got questions for Taylor, you know the drill. You can ask whiskey questions or really questions about anything. A lot of people need gift ideas this time of year, so we'll get to all of those. Tweet me, jump in the Bayou Ford YouTube chat. I got a Facebook post up if you want to ask your questions there as well. Lots of ways you can do it. First, though, you texted me and said that we have deets for the Calandro's Rare Whiskey Raffle. All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah, so today we met with one of the higher-ups at Guarantee. And
Glenn Foster?
Another guy.
Oh.
So we're going to start selling tickets in-store on Black Friday.
Okay.
The 29th.
Okay.
Or what day is that? November. I have it written. It's the 27th. November 27th, Black Friday, in-store, Perkins Road and Government Street. We're going to start selling tickets. We're going to sell tickets until December 10th at 6 p.m. when we're going to start the raffle on Jimmy Ott's show.
Okay.
We are not selling any bottles on December 10th. 0 bottles will be sold on December 10th. So there's no reason for anybody to be hanging around or anything like that because we're not going to sell bottles.
Okay.
We're going to have a pickup window from December 11th to December 20th. And if there's leftover bottles or unclaimed bottles, we're going to roll another raffle on social media probably.
Cool.
Depending on if there's
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, depending on if there's any bottles left over. I hope there's not. We're going to try to just put the stuff that everybody really, really wants in the raffle. And we're going to have Easter eggs throughout the weeks when we're selling tickets and everything like that on the shelf and stuff. So.
Okay, so the bottom line is the raffle. We talked about this last week. The raffle is going virtual, correct?
All 100% virtual.
So,
yes.
So normally, and I know we've talked about it before, but it's always a phenomenal event over at Calandro's on Perkins, and it's usually a packed house. And I mean, for many obvious reasons, this year it can't be that. But the cool thing, though, is that you're still going to find a way to make it happen, which is exciting for everyone who loves whiskey, obviously. Like I'm pulling up a picture here for Paul to show the TV audience, for those who can see it. Like, if you're watching, there's a picture of Taylor from behind holding up a bottle of Pappy. You can just see all the people, like, in the lobby area and through the registers. I mean, it's a packed house. So this year, how is it going to be executed virtually, then, if you're not going to sell bottles on the 10th?
Well, we're gonna call numbers, we're gonna call names, and then the person who wins has to come into the store between the 11th and the 20th with their ID that matches the ticket to claim the bottle and pay for it. And like every year, all ticket sales are 100% for charity. I think we're gonna do 4 kids and a couple different other little things.
Cool.
And there's going to be a silent auction that we're going to do while we're selling tickets that you can bid on items for. I think one of the items is going to be a Joe Burrow jersey, the Cincinnati
nice.
Joe Burrow jersey.
Oh, cool.
Joe Burrow jersey.
Wait. So you said there's going to be a silent auction. I just want to make sure that we got all the details in order for those because a lot of people ask about this every year. Okay, so ticket sales from Black Friday, November 27th through December the 10th, in store at either Calandro's location.
Yes,
okay,
at either location, which is different than normal.
Okay, normally it's just Perkins. So buy your tickets in store. The raffle will be December the 10th. It'll all be virtual. So you'll stream it on the Facebook page or something like that?
Yeah, we're going to use our social media platforms and guarantees as well.
Perfect.
It's going to be live on the Jimmy Ott Show from 6 to 8.
Okay.
The actual raffle.
Perfect. So we'll stream on the Watch 104.5 YouTube and the 104.5 ESPN Facebook page as well. So that'll be easy for a lot of people who are our listeners who want to watch. So you'll basically call the numbers, and then people after December the 10th will have how long to come claim their bottle?
Until we'll sell bottles through December 20th. I think that's the Sunday, December 20th.
Okay, December.
And if they are not claimed by that Sunday, December 20th, then we will go back into the hat with names and redo it again in a smaller way on our social media.
So now explain how. So you'll have silent auction items up in the store for the time that people are coming to buy tickets?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
There will be physical items in store that you can bid on if you want for a silent auction.
Cool.
And that's all going to go to charity as well.
So I know we got about 2 minutes left, and I know we're not getting too many questions, but that's okay because this is info that people always ask about, and it's such a big event every year. So, but I want you to explain, because to some people, you and I are speaking Greek right now.
Yeah.
Explain, if you would, the allocation and why you all do this raffle the way you do it.
So for somebody that doesn't know anything, this is all based around really, really rare whiskey. Mainly, the main draw is Pappy Van Winkle and the antique collection from Buffalo Trace. The reason we do this the way they do it, they only give us a certain amount of bottles every year, and it's based on sales throughout the year. And it's not a lot. Hopefully this year, between all the bottles we have, we'll have 60 to 70 bottles in the raffle. And 60 to 70 bottles sounds like a lot, but when you have a lot of really good customers, it's hard to disperse in a fair way. So we decided to do this. I think it was about 10 years ago we started doing a raffle, or 8 years ago. And we figured this is the fairest way, and we sell every bottle at pretty much MSRP. Some are a little bit above, but most of them are very close to MSRP,
Which
you won't find anywhere
Right.
really.
So for example, like we're looking at the Van Winkles there. So like Old Rip 10, MSRP is what, $70, $80 around there?
Yeah, I think last year we sold it for $89.99.
Okay, if you went onto the secondary market, that would go for
$400.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about people that get these rare bottles and mark it up exponentially. This is an opportunity for people who collect rare whiskey to get it at a fair price. But with the raffle tickets that you sell, you always donate that money to charity. So this year for Kids Foundation. So it's a great way to allow everybody to have an opportunity to buy a rare whiskey at a reasonable price and also do something good for the community. And normally there's a great event surrounding it all. So kudos. We'll pump it. We're excited to be a part again. Again, raffle tickets start on Black Friday, November the 22nd through December 10th. We'll remind you much more as we move through it.
Yeah, right. and we'll post everything on our social media too. So all the details.
Taylor Calandro will share it as well. Thanks, dude. We appreciate you, man.
All right, Matt. Thanks.
Okay, it is after further review. Sports Center coming up. Then hour 2 is next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by GMFS Mortgage and GMFSmortgage.com. Changing lives since 1999 in so many ways. Of course, home buy, refi, construction loans. We talk about that all the time. If your rate is above a 4, I'll continue to hammer this. If your rate on your home is above a 4, my goodness, please do not wait. Call GMFS Mortgage. Call GMFS Mortgage. Go to the website at gmfsmortgage.com. Get in touch with a local loan officer. Let them see if they can lower your rate, thereby lowering your monthly mortgage payment. We've heard some instances where people have lowered their rate 1.5 points, where they've been able to skip 2 mortgage payments while going through closing. How much would that change your life financially if you could skip 2 mortgage payments and lower your rate 1.5 points, saving thousands of dollars over the life of your mortgage? It's gmfsmortgage.com. And, of course, for every loan they close, they make a donation to Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. GMFS Mortgage, gmfsmortgage.com, changing lives.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. 2 more Saturday FBS games affected by COVID-19 in the Big Ten. Ohio State at Maryland canceled after the outbreak in the Terrapins program. And in the SEC, Georgia at Missouri is postponed after a positive test in the Tigers program. ESPN's Paul Feinbaum.
There's a lot of frustration inside the SEC about player behavior. What I mean by that is at this point in the season, we're mid-November, players are getting tired of following protocols. Halloween was a week and a half ago, and a lot of people think maybe that was one of the super spreaders.
Paul Feinbaum on Get Up. LSU quarterback Myles Brennan may miss the rest of the season. He's been out with hip and abdominal injuries. Liberty head coach Hugh Freeze gets a contract extension through the 2026 season. The 7-0 Flames are number 22 in the country this week in just their second full year at the FBS level. Right-hander Marcus Stroman will sign a 1-year qualifying offer from the Mets worth just under $19 million. He opted out of the 2020 season.
Do you own or rent your home? Sure you do. Fortunately, Geico makes it easy to bundle your home and car insurance. It's a good thing, too, because having a home is hard work. Go to geico.com, get a quote, and see how much you could save. Geico.com. Easy.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate that.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
And a brain got a poop. And Mr. Toby Tom Play. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there. Make it a good one. Let's see. Russ Mitchell next hour. Ross Dellenger bottom of this hour. This is interesting. If this happens. Field Yates. You've got to be kidding me. I mean, this is no way surprising. But this is so intrinsically. This is so quintessential Sean Payton. Field Yates just tweeted a moment ago that former Mississippi State quarterback Tommy Stevens, who was expected to sign with the Panthers as an undrafted free agent before the Saints traded back into the draft to select him, is headed today to visit with Carolina. So he could very well wind up with the Panthers after all. Of course, you can sign a player off a team's practice squad if you're signing them to your active roster. Listen, Sean Payton is one of the greatest coaches in the history of the NFL. It's not hyperbole. That's legitimate. He's won a Super Bowl. He is one of the most innovative offensive minds this league has ever seen. His consistency over the span of 2 decades, it's not even debatable. One of the greatest coaches this league has ever seen. part of what makes him amazing is the bravado, is the willingness to take risks, is the willingness to think outside the box and be different. We point it out all the time, right? I mean, you got the Taysom Hill pass. You're taking a Hall of Famer off the field to let a Taysom Hill run Wildcat. Onside kick to start the second half of the Super Bowl. Like, all of that is bred from the same place. And more often than not, it's worked for Sean Payton for the Saints. But sometimes it blows up in your face. And this is one of those instances where Sean Payton was not about to lose Tommy Stevens to Joe Brady in Carolina. And so he gave up draft capital to pick a guy who was never going to make this team. Go back and watch any of our YouTube videos during that time, and I got into a lot of knockdown dragouts with Saints fans about this, where some people try to insist that Tommy Stevens was going to be the next Taysom Hill and was going to be the quarterback of the future potentially and fill that Taysom Hill role. Yet, like, you don't keep 4 quarterbacks on a roster ever. And the Saints didn't. And so they were going to be vulnerable if someone wanted to sign Tommy Stevens. And here, clearly, that's the case. Now, Tommy Stevens was wearing a jersey like in the 80s. So, I mean, they had full-on moved him to tight end and were trying to groom him there. But wish him well if, in fact, he does move on to Carolina. But it's one of those where you thought you got the last laugh on draft day, and in reality, all you did was punt on some draft capital. But whatever. As I often say, win a Super Bowl and who cares? Winning a Super Bowl this year for New Orleans largely will be on the right arm of Drew Brees, as we know it has been for the last 15 years. Drew Brees, who had strongly considered and some had said even decided upon retirement after last season, was telling people at the Pro Bowl that he was finished, only to a few weeks later a post on Instagram that he was going to give it one more go. What changed for Drew Brees then, we don't know, and that's something I'm sure upon which he will reflect whenever his time in the NFL is done. But we all do assume that it will be done after this year. But today, Drew Brees was on the Rich Eisen show, and he talked about retirement. And Rich was kind of asking him about if this was going to be it for Drew Brees.
I'm in the moment. I mean, I really am, and I can say that that's really the way it's been the last couple of years. Obviously, this is a year unlike any other. I mean, I think all of us can't wait to get beyond 2020 and on to the better times and safer times and more confident times. But bottom line is we're tasked with playing the game of football during all this, right? And we still come to work every day and still go through the same preparation and go out and play on Sundays the same way. Now, granted, it is different not having fans. I think we've had to adjust to that, but at the same time, this is our new normal for the time being. We're just going to take it one week at a time. We're going to try to continue to build on what we put on the field last week, and there's still a lot of football left, and there's still a lot to prove, and I still think we have a lot of improvement as a team.
Now, Brees was asked about thinking about retirement. He said, I'm living in the moment. And so then he went on to about improving over the team and accomplished a lot last week. And then Rich pressed him on his decision to come back this year.
I took the necessary time. To consider everything. And I didn't want to rush to any decisions either way. And I think that's really the way it's been the last couple of years. I think there's just more attention on it now than there ever has been before because, 41 years old, and I guess I'm more towards the end of my career than I am at the beginning.
And one more from Drew Brees, and again, this was on the Rich Eisen show earlier today, where Drew was asked, what motivates you to keep going?
I think what I've learned throughout my career is, listen, I love competition. I love to compete. I love to prepare. I love sports. I mean, I love going out and competing, and it doesn't, not just football, but anything. I've always been that way, so maybe that's just something in my genetics, just the way God made me. But I also have learned along the way that, I'm more play and compete and inspired by those who have believed in me and fostered that in me along the way. So it's not that I don't hold grudges. I don't hold any ill will. for those who didn't recruit me or any of that stuff, but there is a small piece of you that knows that there are those that have doubted you and maybe always will doubt you for whatever reason. And so that has created the chip, right? It's added fuel to the fire. But at the end of the day, that's not totally what motivates me.
Drew Brees again on the Rich Eisen show, and I always find it fascinating when you have someone who is, be it sports or otherwise, when you have someone who is on the short list of the greatest to ever do something that sits back and can be introspective about what drives them to be great at what they do. I just always find that interesting. If you're someone who is fascinated by success and successful people and what drives them to be successful, there are always lessons to learn. And you have Drew Brees talking about it there. It's just, he basically said it's genetic. It's what's in my DNA, the thing that made this competitive nature, which literally not everyone has. And he's saying, I don't hold a grudge, but the chip is there and it's fueling the fire to continue to go out and prove people wrong, whatever that may be. And that's, so many athletes have trouble with that whenever their time playing ends, because they try to find something, the next thing, to fuel that competitive fire, and a lot of guys struggle. But I can tell you with Drew Brees specifically, this feels like the most obvious comparison is Peyton Manning back in 2015. It's just what this is, where everyone knew going into that season that was going to be it for Peyton. And his play on the field led you to believe that even further. And they won a championship in Denver, and if you remember, he was asked on the field post-game that Super Bowl, in Super Bowl 50, this was it, and he wouldn't say that definitively. He actually said, I'm going to go drink a cold Budweiser and enjoy this and make that decision later, and that led people to wonder how much Budweiser paid him to mention it in the post-game, whatever. But, I think with Peyton then, he didn't want the farewell tour. And certainly the moment on the field in the postgame, he didn't want to take away from the team and the bigger picture of the moment and place it solely on himself. I think you're seeing something similar with Drew Brees right now. Not only is he staying in the moment, trying to be present in what this team is trying to achieve, but I also think he doesn't want the farewell tour. He doesn't want the attention, because the attention on him takes away from the singular goal the team is trying to achieve. Beyond that, if and when the season comes to an end, hopefully on the highest of highs, hoisting a Lombardi trophy, or with a playoff loss or whenever that may come, I also don't think we're going to see a situation where Drew Brees walks away on the field, announces his retirement on the field. That'll come sometime later, because for the same reason that Drew Brees just alluded to there. As a professional, as a competitor, as someone who's motivated and driven, it's seldom going to be just about you when you love sports and it's a team game. So, I think Drew Brees saying, I'm in the moment, is something that we could probably should all respect a little more and try to mirror a little more. Because, listen, if you're a Saints fan, and by nature of the fact that you're listening to this show, the overwhelming majority of you are, and I understand not everybody is, but if you are, and even if you're not, understand what you're watching, which is, for Drew Brees, very likely the final half of his final season of his Hall of Fame career. And it's the last time you're going to get to see Drew Brees do a lot of these things. And maybe we should just all appreciate and live in the moment and appreciate this season for what it is, but also the bigger picture, which is this is very likely the last time we're going to see Drew Brees playing in a Saints uniform this season. That's certainly not decided, but it certainly feels like it. So do like Drew Brees and exist in the moment. One guy who we thought might be on the move after this season might actually be staying put. And that could really shake up college football. Talk about that when we come back. And we'll let you hear from Ed Ogeron, who's on the SEC coaches teleconference this morning. Not only did he talk about Alabama, the postponement of that game, about Myles Brennan's injury, which appears to be season-ending. Talked about other things involved with his program and COVID and everything moving forward right now. We'll let you hear from Eddie O when we come back. Glad to have you hanging out with us here on AFR.
AFR.
If you're looking for dinner plans tonight, Ichiban is always a great option. Essa near Perkins Airline Highway in Gonzales. Voted by you the best sushi and best hibachi in the Best of 225 awards. So why in the world would you do anything other than make tonight an Ichiban night? Of course, you can check out the menu online. You can order online. Curbside takeaway is available if you're not ready for dining in. But remember, both locations have all-weather patio dining. So if you want to enjoy this balmy 82-degree weather, you can do it. But we do have a low tonight of 58. So it should be nicer as we move into the evening hours to have a great night at Ichiban. And, of course, our friends at Ichiban, as I've been telling you, have introduced their new concept, Bo-Ru Ramen, in the Electric Depot on Government Street in Baton Rouge near I-10. This is world-class, authentic Japanese ramen. Check it out. It is a dining experience in the Electric Depot. Bo-Ru Ramen.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
Gambler.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
So Hugh Freeze has signed a contract extension to remain at Liberty University. It's a little surprising. If you didn't see it last week, Ross Dellenger, who's going to join us here in about 12 minutes, Ross Dellenger has a big personality profile feature on Hugh Freeze and his time up at Liberty. It's up at SI, which published last week and is really exceptionally done. But this is year 2 for Hugh Freeze at Liberty. Had a successful debut season a year ago, and now he's got the Flames at 7-0. They're ranked 22nd. They've only been in the FBS. This is the second year. Hugh Freeze was the coach last year when they came into the FBS. And now this is year 2 as an independent. They've already beaten Syracuse this year. This past week, they won at Virginia Tech. They still play NC State in Raleigh, and then they're going to finish their regular season with a game against 15th-ranked Coastal Carolina on December the 5th. Basically, Hugh Freeze is proving what we already knew from his time at Ole Miss, which is he's a hell of a football coach. And because of the success he's having, he was going to be and I say was, because he has reached a very lucrative deal to stay at Liberty. He was going to be a very sought-after commodity in the coaching carousel once it started to spin about a month from now. Well, Freeze was given an extension last year by Liberty, and now he's been given another extension, and the details of which, and Liberty's a private institution, so they don't have to disclose it, but what we did learn via this ESPN report is that it makes Freeze among the top 5 highest paid non-Power 5 head coaches, which means this deal would put him somewhere in the $3 million plus per year range, which is on par with what he was making at Ole Miss prior. That's staggering. But remember, if you haven't, it's why I would encourage you to go read the profile that Ross Dellenger did at SI. Liberty has gobs of money. They're in Virginia. I didn't know this, but they have an insane amount of wealth where they have invested roughly $1 billion into university infrastructure, but in facilities. But they've got a football-only facility. If you look at the pictures of it, it's palatial. I mean, it rivals any Power 5 facility. It's staggering. I mean, they've got facilities, and they're able to recruit to that, and they've got money to spend, and they are spending it. They're opening a brand new $20-some-odd million basketball arena. So I'm really curious, very abundantly curious, if Liberty is going to be able to hang on to Hugh Freeze, because he would seem to be the guy at the top of the most wanted list when the coaching carousel started to spin. He could effectively name his destination, and you could talk about what happened at Ole Miss, and that's, look, to every man or woman who has their own vices and their own shortcomings, they'll answer to that in this life or the next, whatever you believe and may come to. But the bottom line is Hugh Freeze has already paid for, and many times over, his indiscretions in a professional sense by losing the Ole Miss job and being really a castaway, and on the personal side because he lives with this embarrassment daily. Whether he's reconciled with it with his family or not, that's his business and his family's business. But the bottom line is, if you can coach, you'll get another opportunity. Look at Bobby Petrino. Bobby Petrino gets get in a wreck on the back of a motorcycle with a co-ed. He's fired at Arkansas. He gets back in the game at Western Kentucky. He's there for a year, wins, gets back to Louisville. I mean, you're going to get another shot if you can coach, and Hugh Freeze has proven he can coach. So the fascinating thing for me is, will Hugh Freeze stay at Liberty? He signed this extension, but will he stay there, or will, let's say, Southern Cal fires Clay Helton? Did they go make an offer to Hugh Freeze? Let's say South Carolina fires Will Muschamp. Did they go make a push for Hugh Freeze? A school like Vanderbilt, if they move on from Derek Mason, wouldn't Hugh Freeze be a better option? Throw a walkover about Michigan. What if Harbaugh does go back to the NFL and Michigan needs a coach? I know Hugh Freeze isn't a Michigan man, but do you want to win? What's your what level of risk and tolerance are you willing to absorb? I tell you what, man, I'd have no problem with it. I mean, every coach has some skeletons in their closet. Listen, I mean, let's call it Ed Ogeron had troubles early in his career, personal issues, which he's overcome, and he's a national championship winning coach now. So, I mean, this is fascinating because there's always the coach or two at the top of everybody's wish list that sort of, once that domino falls, everything else can fall in place. And if Hugh Freeze stays at Liberty, arguably the biggest domino in this coaching carousel doesn't fall. So what happens? It's going to be fascinating to watch. All right, it's after further review. Glad to have you hanging out with us here. We're brought to you by Shaw Bills Tire and Auto Service. ShawBillsTire.com, 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawBillsTire.com, ShawBillsTire.com. bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. That is Shaw Bills. Check out the website, ShawBillsTire.com, for hours of operation. And remember, if you're looking to buy tires or get the brake light on, you got the brakes squeaking, you got the oil light on, the check engine light on, you got anything going on with your vehicle, bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. That's Shaw Bills, with locations all over South Louisiana. From Morgan City to Baton Rouge to Lafayette and all points in between. It's Shaw Bills, where we keep you rolling. All right, it's after further review. Ed Ogeron today met with the was on the SEC coaches teleconference and kind of went through, with this game being postponed, what the team is doing this week now that LSU and Bama won't happen on Saturday.
Yeah, I think our team has handled this week very well. At the beginning of the week, we were moved on to Arkansas. We didn't think the Alabama game would happen. Then we kind of thought maybe it could happen, so we went back to Alabama. And then we found out yesterday for sure we wasn't playing. But I want to commend the SEC for doing the right thing for the safety of our players. We always knew the season would be unlike any other, but the SEC is prepared, and we look forward to the rescheduling of the game against Alabama. We want to play Alabama. It's a great rivalry for us. They're a great football team, and we want to accept that challenge.
I'm glad to hear Ed Ogeron say it, and more LSU fans need to say it and embrace it and welcome that game, because you need to play, and it looks like it's going to happen probably on December the 5th. But you heard Ed say there, knew early in the week that the game was unlikely, so they switched gears to Arkansas. Now, Ed was also asked, how confident are you that Arkansas is going to be your next opponent?
Yeah, and listen, we want to play Alabama, so whatever happens, we're going to be ready to play. And I understand Greg Sankey's position. This is a fluid deal. But I tell you what, those guys have done a tremendous job of getting us to play. I'm happy we're playing. We knew this stuff would happen this season, so we just got to be ready to go. Whoever they tell us to play, we'll be ready to play.
And one more. Can you play 9, please, Brett? One more from Ed. He was asked kind of, how the players stay prepared with such a fluid situation.
Yeah, well, they're all in Zoom meetings, okay, and they're able to work out by themselves in special groups. They can run and work out and live, but they can't be at practice, and that's what we're doing.
Got a lot of players in different roles. You've probably seen Zach Von Rosenberg out there playing some quarterback. Zach played some quarterback in his time at Zachary along with punting, so was obviously a professional pitcher as well, so he's got a good arm. And I know I disclosed this, and I've told you, when Zach, maybe I haven't said this here, maybe I've said this in other places, when Zach Von Rosenberg left professional baseball and was preparing to walk on at LSU, Les Miles was the coach at the time, Zach was at Traction doing quarterback drills. He was at least preparing for the possibility of walking on at LSU as quarterback. So it shouldn't come as a great surprise that he's out there spinning the football. When TJ Finley's your only available quarterback or walk-ons, you need bodies out there, guys that can go throw the football. It makes some sense. And look, if you're preparing for Arkansas and you need someone to be a scout team and imitate Felipe Franks, how about a tall, strong-armed kid like Zach Von Rosenberg? I mean, it makes a lot of sense if you're looking for someone to imitate Felipe Franks in team drills. So, weird year, weird week, certainly amid a weird year. LSU won't play Alabama this week, and we wait on word from the SEC when they might make up that game. But I'll tell you candidly and confidently, I think the SEC is going to play games on December the 19th, and it's most likely that LSU Ole Miss gets moved to December the 19th, and LSU Bama gets moved to that December the 5th playing date. And that would mean Bama Arkansas gets moved a week back to December the 12th. All right, it's after further review. Glad that you are with us here. Brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, and Bluebonnet Dine In or Carry Out. One other quick note from LSU today is that Trevez Moore has entered the NCAA transfer portal. So we knew Trevez had opted out. He announced a few weeks ago on Twitter that he was opting out of the season. Today, he's officially now entered the transfer portal. He is a grad transfer, so he would be eligible to play anywhere next year, wherever he chooses to go. But Trevez was a Bastrop guy who came to LSU from junior college and was the number one weak side defensive end coming out of JUCO in the 247 composite. So LSU's defensive line has been their depth have been hit inside and out. Tyler Shelvin, Apu Ika, guys like Justin Thomas, Trevez Moore, TK McClendon, on and on. LSU's lost a lot of bodies, and they'll need to replenish. Looks like Ed's doing that in this recruiting class. Okay, it's after further review. We'll knock out a quick break, come back, and Ross Dellenger will jump aboard with us. With these games being canceled, what does that mean for the college football playoff? What's he hearing about bowl season? We'll delve into all that with Ross next.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by Pluckers, title sponsor of our Hump Day shows all throughout the year. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine in or carry out. 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice cold draft beer, full service bar, and sports on TV. So we told you yesterday, of course, that you had a trio of MACtion games today. Another trio of MACtion games. 3 more MAC football games. If you need a place to watch all of your college or NFL action, make sure you get by Pluckers, either location. Nicholson just south of campus, or Bluebonnet right in front of the Mall of Louisiana. Eastern Michigan Ball State starts at 6 o'clock, followed by Toledo, Western Michigan at 7. And also at 7 o'clock, you got Central Michigan and Northern Illinois. If you don't have CBS Sports Network or ESPNU or ESPN, they got them at Pluckers. They've also got 60 50-inch flat screens. So no matter where you look, you always have an unobstructed view. You got MACtion tonight. If you're watching for leisure or betting on it, make sure you get by Pluckers. Nicholson, Bluebonnet, dine in, carry out. Pluckers if you don't like our wings. We'll give you the bird.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get a 20 Highlander for $4,600 off of MSRP.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Pluckers Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Pluckers Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, Ross Dellenger of Sports Illustrated, good enough to join us for a couple of minutes here. Delly, how are you?
Good, Matt. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. So Greg Sankey, amid all of the SEC postponements, met with the media. Was this a teleconference? How were you all meeting with him today?
Yeah, he followed, the weekly coaches teleconference is every Wednesday from basically 10 a.m. Central to 1 p.m. And he followed the last coach. And credit to him, and I texted some people in the league office saying thanks because he gave us more than 30 minutes. We asked probably, oh my gosh, I bet at least 18, 20 questions. It was really good. He obviously didn't. You know Greg, and I'm sure a lot of your listeners know him from reading his quotes and stuff. He doesn't always divulge a ton, and sometimes he speaks in cliches. But this time we had some pointed questions, and he actually divulged, some decent, interesting information.
He said he does not take scheduling suggestions on Twitter. Did you mention that he should be reading my Twitter?
I did not, but I have a feeling, I have a suspicion the options that you outlined, he already knows about.
Yeah, I'm fairly certain we know how this will all play out at this point, at least tentatively would play. So what was the big takeaway from Sankey today for you?
I think first of all, he admitted he.
All right, hang on. We lost Ross. Let's see if we can get him back, Brain. First of all, he admitted, and then Ross went away. All right, we'll try to get Dellenger back here. I do want to ask him about SEC protocols. I want to ask about also missing games and how that might impact the playoff. And then I do want to ask also about basketball, because this is something with contact tracing. This is something Ross wrote about a while back, so I want to get into this as well. Okay, Ross, sorry. I'd asked what was the big takeaway from Sankey, and then you dropped off.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
So I think everybody, expected that we would have kind of weeks like this. The SEC got through about halfway through the season without having one, but we kind of, every conference expected that there would be one like this. This was probably, postponing 4 of 7 games is pretty significant. And I'm sure, and you could just tell from Greg's voice, he's a little concerned, not necessarily deterred, but he's, and I don't want to say surprised or anything, because again, we expected things like this, but 4 of 7 is a significant number. And now when you look at it, it's late enough in the season where you have a lack of flexibility in team schedules. And so I think there's certainly some concern, and you could hear in his voice there was some concern. But I think the biggest concerning thing from talking to people around the league is if you have another week like this, right? You can't have 2 of these. You can't have 2 weeks where you lose 4 games this late in the year where you don't have the flexibility. If that happens, then you are going to be in a situation where, and we talked about this over the summer, Matt, where everybody's not going to play the same amount of games. You're going to have teams that aren't going to be able to play the same amount of games if you have another week like this.
He referenced, and I know you've written about it in the past, contact tracing is the bigger issue. Like, for example, Missouri. It had 1 positive test, but contact tracing is what put them on the shelf for the game against Georgia. Is there and I referenced the piece you did several weeks ago about myocarditis and the very low numbers, almost not insignificant numbers there. Is there, from anyone you talk to, any conversation about loosening some of the contact tracing rigidity in those requirements?
Well, there is. In about 3 weeks ago, I wrote a deep dive kind of on contact tracing and how it's going, how it works and the subjectivity of it, how it's different from school to school, its complex nature in its future. And the big kind of the topic of the whole story, right, was what you're asking. It was, when can we test out of quarantine? When can a high-risk contact test out of quarantine? Right now, high-risk contacts are in quarantine for 14 days, a mandatory 14 days, no matter if they test negative, no matter how many times. You're there for 14 days. With the NFL, you're there for 5 days. If you have 5 straight negative tests, you can test out. And a lot of different pro leagues and others have the same rules, but college right now, they don't have that. And it's a fight. It's a two-way fight here. It's a fight with school presidents. Some school presidents think it not wise to treat their athletes different on this front than other regular students, because regular students are going through the normal 14-day quarantine, and they don't want to treat students differently. And the other front is with local health departments, and that's the real big one. I was talking to an administrator in an SEC school today who said there's no way their state health department would allow them to test out. There's just no way. And so if a local health department and a state health department, if they say no, the schools can't do it, and that's, it's a fight and it's a battle right now. And the biggest battle is not even in the SEC with this contact tracing and local health department piece. The biggest battle right now is out west. I'm sure you've seen some of the stories out of Cal, Berkeley. Yep. There's a real fight there. But that battle is being raged right now in the SEC and in other places as well. Schools are trying to convince local health departments, look, we're testing regularly. They're in a contained environment. Let us test out.
For those that aren't familiar, the Cal situation is they're literally considering moving their football program to be able to play the season because of the restrictions there locally, which is a wild thought, but they're trying to consider all possibilities. All right, a couple more minutes with Ross Dellenger on Twitter at rossdellengersi.com. Do you feel or do you know how losing games might impact the selection committee, most notably, Ross, the news today about Ohio State, where they were only already going to play just 8 games. Now they're going to max out at 7.
Well, this is why we have, a selection committee, and we have that human element. And Matt, you and I have gotten into this quite a bit, and I think we agree for the most part. I hate the fact that we actually have the human element. I'd love for college football to decide a champion like a high school leagues do in the NFL.
Like literally every other sport in the history of mankind.
Exactly. On the field, and you don't have any human element. But I will say, right, this year, I guess, in a way, you have a human element that can be beneficial, where these people that are deciding, these committee members, know they can factor in all of this COVID stuff going on and make a decision. And I think, losing games and the amount of games you played, those are data points, and you lose them. You lose those data points, and normally it's not good to lose a data point, even if it's one where you may have lost a game or something. I just don't think it's good. So the more games you lose, yes, I think the worse it gets for you. This committee is going to be dealing with potentially 6-0 teams versus 10-1 teams, which is wild. But they're still going to look at the numbers. And Matt, I think you had me on a couple of years ago when I did the what was it called? It was like a faux trial run.
Oh yeah, the selection committee process.
Yeah, media selection. Yeah. And it was really cool to see the process. Of course, the whole time I was doing
the mock process.
Yeah, the mock. That's it. The mock. It was a media mock draft process or committee playoff process, picking the playoff teams. And during that whole process, it was really fascinating to see the numbers they look at, the computer numbers and everything. Of course, at the same time, while it was fascinating, it was just depressing because I'm like, what are we doing? I kept asking myself in my head, what are we doing? But they look at all the strength of schedule, they look at all these numbers, and they're going to look at the numbers again. I'm sure they're going to look at the numbers, but there is that human element where this committee member knows, okay, this team was playing without this person because of COVID, and this team lost this game because of COVID. So at least there is that human element this year to where they can kind of acknowledge or take into account all these things.
The Big Ten should be out. And the Pac-12.
Well, what about the Pac-12? Yeah,
I'm
about to say,
they should
the Big Ten. I mean,
they should not have even played.
Look at the Pac-12. They're going to play. They're already scheduled to play 2 fewer games.
I said last week that I would literally rather vomit on myself than see a Pac-12 team in the playoff this year. If you're going to play 6 games, 6, and you have other leagues playing 10 or 11, it's completely inequitable. I mean, look at A&M. Well, what if A&M could have just not played Alabama? Sweet. They're undefeated. They're in. I mean, it's the stupidest thing.
Yeah, It is, and it all goes back to something you mentioned earlier, right? The heart issue stuff. That's a big reason why the Big Ten shut down. And it's not as big of a reason why the Pac-12 shut down, but it is certainly one of the reasons. And now we're finding, as you mentioned that story 2 weeks ago that we did, the studies show that the heart abnormalities, they're not finding much at all. In
I feel shocked. I feel shocked.
The athletes that
shocked.
But Matt,
this
I'll
guy
say this.
stunned by all that.
I'll say this. And a doctor brought it up to me, who's in the South. He's a Southern doctor. He's an SEC doctor, and he was one who was, thinking that the heart issue wasn't that big a deal. But he said this to me, and I think it does speak volumes. Some of these places, they were overly cautious. But we're in a pandemic, so should they be criticized for being overly cautious? And I'm not saying, I agree or not, but okay. Well, you have that take. That's your opinion, and I understand it. But other people, I think, would say no. We shouldn't criticize being overly cautious amid a pandemic when we don't know enough and we don't have enough data. But now we do. So.
Mm-hmm. They just scared people with big words is what they did with the myocarditis thing. Anyway, all right, last thing, because we're running late, but I did want to ask you because I know you've done a really good job reporting on all this. I know a lot of people are giving you crap, and I've given you crap too because sometimes you have deserved it. But the college basketball thing, you were very far out in front of that as well, as far as what potential contact tracing could do to college basketball. I know you're not a college basketball reporter, but where's your feeling right now with basketball set to tip off 2 weeks from today?
Yeah, we saw our first basketball, I think, cancellation today. 2 weeks out, first one canceled. I don't remember who the teams were. We're obviously gonna see a lot of that. It's an indoor sport, and when we talk about contact tracing on a football field, you're not seeing on-field transmission or seeing very small amounts of it. Because, it's a rapid sport. You hit, and then that's it. You release. Sometimes you don't hit. You're wearing a face mask sometimes, or you're wearing a helmet and stuff. And it's an outdoor sport. Basketball presents all of these issues because you're indoor. There's no face mask. There's no helmet. You're right up against somebody for a continuous amount of time, more time than football. And there's a real concern that one positive on one basketball team will send the entire team in the staff into quarantine under contact tracing protocols for 2 weeks. And it's a real issue. And even daily testing, as we've seen in Wisconsin, as we saw at Maryland, right, that canceled it. Daily testing is not the answer. It's not the answer. It doesn't mean all of a sudden you don't have to contact trace and you're not going to find all these close contacts. It still exists. So basketball is a real issue. And one thing I think administrators have done, they know it's going to be a real issue, and they've factored in, some flexibility where, look, Matt, you could have teams end up canceling 50% of their games. I mean, you really could. And they factored that in, and they know that's the reality.
All right. He is the college football Grim Reaper, Ross Dellenger. Good enough to spend a couple of minutes with us here. Follow him on Twitter at Ross Dellenger and SI.com read his stuff. Thanks, Ross. I appreciate you, man.
Yep. All right, man.
All right, be well. It's After Further Review. Brain will have Tigers and the Pros next.
AFR.
Brought to you by Clegg's Nursery. Buy local, shop local at Clegg's Nursery. So, no game again this weekend, which means weather's going to be nice this weekend. I haven't even checked what the forecast looks like, but this is a really good time to look at it. My goodness. So this weekend in Baton Rouge, Saturday, sunny with a high of 82 and a low of 63. It will be an immaculate day to get into the yard and just plant something. We say it all the time. Add a pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. They've still got plenty of fall decor. If you want garden flags, wind chimes, Clegg's Nursery has all of that. And, of course, they've got full greenhouses. So if you want those beautiful flowers or plants or trees or shrubs, they've got it. And they've got Johnny Naylor's seed. So if you want to plant a vegetable garden, Clegg's Nursery has got you covered. Largest garden center in the state of Louisiana, 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area, and Clegg's is partnered with True Value Hardware Store. So buy local, shop local, and tell them Matt sent you to Clegg's Nursery.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who, without being asked, shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community? We believe that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust.
So, if you know someone that sounds like what Jordy was just describing, nominate them to be your good citizen, and they'll have a chance to win $500 from Citizens Bank and Trust. Plus, we'll mention him right here on the show. So go to citizensbankandtrust.com for more details and nominate your good citizen. Our local nonprofits help build a thriving community for all, and now it's time for us to give back. So join us for 225 Gives on Giving Tuesday, December 1st, to build community and unite action. Learn more at 225gives.org.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not one but two NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays. You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor you could control with your iPhone? They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into Front to Back Boat Services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front to Back Boat Services.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get a 20 Highlander for $4,600 off of MSRP.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
Wrapping up hour number 2, Brain Tigers in the pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now. Presented by Kentucky's Best Hemp. Find them online at kysbesthemp.com.
Kevin Gosman remains a San Francisco Giant.
Oh, this is so loud. You drowned yourself out.
Yeah, I know.
And you had all
They
the
changed
control.
the board up about 2 weeks ago, and I'm still not used to it. Brought down the wrong pot.
Most people listening don't know what a pot is. They probably thought you were making
point
a drug,
of transmission.
a
Sorry.
drug reference. Yes, point of transmission. The board, the little sliders on the board, those are called pots.
Yes. So Kevin Gosman remains a San Francisco Giant. ESPN reporting that Gosman will accept the Giants' $18.9 million qualifying offer and return to the team in 2021.
They're just really rich now.
Very. $18.9 million.
The drop is apropos.
Pro Football Focus is out with their midseason all-rookie team. Matt, guess how many Tigers are on it?
4.
You were listening when I was talking to Paul.
I was not.
Okay.
I would assume Burrow, Clyde, Queen, and Jefferson.
You are...
They don't have Clyde. They have Damian Lewis, I bet.
Nailed it. Burrow, Jefferson, Lewis, and Queen.
Because Pro Football Focus loves them some Damian Lewis.
He's got the grades.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the other three are pretty self-explanatory. Actually, the write-up on Justin Jefferson is impressive. If Jefferson keeps this pace up, he'll be the single most efficient rookie receiver we've ever seen.
Woo!
I like it.
Woo!
One more before being done.
2-star, by the way.
Right? Happy birthday to Devon Gottschall. 26 years old today.
What's up, bro? Happy birthday.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. No?
I don't know that version.
It's easy. You just say happy birthday.
Oh, but there was other stuff in there like a happy birthday to you.
Well, you just nailed it.
All right. And that's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by
KYSBestHemp.com. KYSBestHemp.com.
Tanya Harding's 50 years old. Look at that. It's right there on the television. Remember Tanya Harding?
I do.
She had that guy club Nancy Kerrigan in the knee.
What was his name?
Jeff Gillooly.
Gillooly, that's right.
Huh. Nancy Kerrigan was really hot back in the day. I bet she probably is still a good-looking lady.
Probably.
You think so? She's probably a really good-looking older lady.
I would imagine. Yeah. Older?
Well, I mean, if Tanya Harding's 50, I mean, wouldn't you say 50's older?
Used to be.
I'm not saying you're not old, but you're older.
Doesn't that scale move with your own age, though?
You just get older. So.
Yeah.
Tanya Harding boxed, too. Remember that?
I do.
What a mess. All right, Sports Center, then Hour 3 next. Stay here.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Windows, doors, siding, Relief Windows, ReliefWindows.com. I had lunch with Brandon Holly today. We were at a business group meeting. And I love when I get stories like this because it's just, this is Brandon. Like, Brandon tells me people sometimes are amazed because when they call, Brandon, probably 50% of the jobs that Relief Windows does, he will go himself, will go out and measure. So he'll walk in and people are floored because the guy on the TV actually shows up at their house. But that's him. It's his brand, it's his business, and he loves doing it. But he also loves whenever he can make someone's day. There was a customer he was telling me about that had a little bit of an issue, and it was just about $600 to fix. And he insisted that they were going to come take the siding off and redo it at their own expense. And this person just insisted, no, I don't want you to do that. Don't want you to do that. But they just go so far above and beyond to make sure you're thrilled. That's Brandon Holly's mission. That's his legacy. That's what he expects of all his employees. That is Relief Windows. ReliefWindows.com.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.
From the makers of Blue Moon comes Light Sky. An extraordinary citrus sweet brewed with real tangerine peel, only 95 calories. Welcome to the light side of the moon.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4Kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Callahan Injury Lawyers.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown with 8 Maryland players testing positive over the last week. Saturday's Ohio State game at Maryland is canceled and will not be rescheduled. Georgia at Missouri is the 4th SEC game scheduled for Saturday to be postponed. The Missouri program has had a positive test and is now contact tracing. Former Rockets head coach Mike D'Antoni and GM Daryl Morey are now elsewhere, and ESPN has learned Houston guards James Harden and Russell Westbrook are concerned about the direction of the franchise. ESPN's Tim McMahon says this concern is not new for Harden.
He expresses these kind of concerns, this sort of urgency, pretty much every offseason, and that's led the Rockets to, or at least factored into the Rockets, making some pretty significant moves, whether it was trading for Chris Paul or last summer trading for Russell Westbrook.
Harden and Westbrook each have 3 years to go on their contracts. Mark Daigneault is now the new head coach of the Thunder. The 35-year-old Daigneault was an assistant last season to Billy Donovan.
Coming up Thursday, we get you ready for Thursday Night Football and what could be the final start for a future Hall of Famer. Keyshawn J. Will and Zubin, Thursday, 6 a.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios.
That's right.
Hour 3, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. AFR, presented by Pluckers. I'm Matt.
I appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
The Yankees win. The Brain.
And the brain got a poop.
And Mr. Toby Tomplett. We're here. Glad you are as well. 5 o'clock quitting time. Glad you are driving home with us. And oh, by the way, it's a hump day.
Hump day.
Yeah.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Let's hump, everybody.
It's hump day.
No LSU Bama this week.
Hump day.
You already knew that.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
That's what I like about you, your attention to detail.
It's hump day.
Eddie BONINE was here at hour 1.
Hump day.
Ross Dellenger was here last hour.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
Taylor Calandro had all the deets on the Calandro's rare whiskey raffle.
It's hump day.
Russ Mitchell in 12 minutes.
Hump day.
Looks like Myles Brennan's done for the year.
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
More COVID crazy people.
It's hump day.
So basically a regular old day in 2020. Glad you are hanging out with us. All right, let's get through this hour here, man. One more, we'll quit and we'll head on home. Mel Kiper, his latest big board is up. Prospects for the 2021 draft. And I was going to be most interested in this. I will be most interested in this for those players that opted out to see who is impacted. There are no doubt some that won't feel any effect. Among them, Jamar Chase. So Mel Kiper's big board is Trevor Lawrence, number 1, Justin Fields, number 2, Penei Sewell, number 3, Micah Parsons, 4, Devontae Smith, 5, and then Jamar Chase, 6. So if you're scoring at home, Sewell and Parsons both opted out. Lawrence, Fields, Smith all playing, and Chase opted out. So 3 of the top 6 all opted out. So there are some that it's just unequivocal. They're talented. They're going to be taken at the top of this draft or near the top of this draft, and their draft status isn't going to be affected, just like some players wouldn't be affected whenever they sit out of a bowl game. Kyle Pitts has to be the biggest riser. The Florida tight end, Mel Kiper, has as the 7th best prospect in this entire draft. Trey Lance, the quarterback from North Dakota State, at 8. Patrick Surtain from Alabama. Samuel Cosmi, the offensive tackle from Texas, are 9 and 10. There's Jalen Waddle. So even with the injury, Mel Kiper still has Jalen Waddle as the 11th best player in this draft. From an LSU standpoint, the biggest riser is Terrace Marshall Jr. This is evidence of why playing this season could be a massive help. When you can put out game film and prove you are a legit number 1, Mel Kiper has Terrace Marshall as the 21st best overall player in this draft. So he's got Devontae Smith 5 among receivers in the overall standings in this big board. Devontae Smith 5, Jamar Chase 6, Jalen Waddle 11, and then Terrace Marshall 21. He's got 4 receivers in his top 21, so the only receivers he has above Marshall are Smith, Chase, and Waddle. So clearly for Terrace Marshall, playing this season has been a big, big boost for him in the way that he's viewed. Kiper also does his position rankings. He's got Torrey Carter, the 6th best fullback, but let's be clear, you're not going to see 6 fullbacks drafted. Mention the receivers. Most interesting for me with respect to this draft is going to be what players can Ed Ogeron and his staff recruit back. Because you have certain roster deficiencies that you're probably not going to fill with recruits, with high school recruits that make you better game 1. Look at the offensive line. Offensive guards, Kiper has Ed Ingram, the 5th best offensive guard in this draft. Ed Ingram, considering all he's been through in his career, he's likely done. Every other offensive lineman theoretically could return. Ed has said publicly he wants Liam Shanahan back. I look at right tackle with Austin Deculus, who's basically been a 4-year starter. Could you theoretically get Austin Deculus back for another year? Maybe, don't know. But it's worth having those conversations to see if you could add veteran presence and leadership to that offensive line instead of having to push reset again next season in that position group. Now, one guy who clearly did not benefit from sitting out is Tyler Shelvin, who at the end of last year's draft was in many people's mock draft as a first-round pick, and Mel Kiper had him as the best available defensive tackle in this year's draft. Now, Kiper has Shelvin outside of his top 25 players and as just the 3rd best defensive tackle, interior tackle in this draft. And I'm going to be very curious to see when Tyler Shelvin shows up at the combine if he's in shape. Because if he's not, expect that draft grade to plummet. So Terrace Marshall, by playing, has seen his draft stock increase. Tyler Shelvin, by not playing, has seen his draft stock decrease. Now, the biggest surprise for me on here, the linebackers. Kiper has Damone Clark as the 9th best inside linebacker and Jabril Cox as the 7th best outside linebacker. Neither guy has played well at all this year. Flatly. Neither has played well at all. And Cox is a guy who was projected as a first rounder with some of those preseason mock drafts, who obviously has seen his stock fall because of the way he's played this year. And one other to keep an eye on, too, is Zach Von Rosenberg. Kiper has him as the 4th best punter. And when you're 30 years old, and Zach is 30, maybe this is just that time where he says, you know what, I'm just ready to go to the next level and maybe try your hand at professional football. Or maybe because he made plenty of money in baseball and has money and is enjoying his college experience and playing for the Tigers and punting, maybe Zach comes back for another year. Remember, he not only has another year because of this year, with this year of eligibility being granted everyone. So it will be Ed Orgeron's biggest task this offseason. How do you make your team more veteran next year? Certainly you could look at the transfer portal and you could look at JUCO and bringing on grad transfers. All that is potentially possible. But realistically, the best way to do it is avoid the draft turnover. Get some of these guys back who have played significant football for you this year and let them be more veteran next year paired with these fantastic recruiting classes from 2020 and what LSU's prepared to sign in 2021. So we'll certainly, I'm a draft Nick. I love that sort of stuff. I love keeping an eye on it. That's just Mel Kiper's opinion. It's one man, but certainly his opinion is respected. And he's got Jamar Chase as the 6th best player in this draft, and he's got Terrace Marshall as the 21st best player in this draft. So Shelvin, by not playing, has seen his stock drop. Chase is where he was, and Terrace Marshall has increased his draft stock by playing this season. So all really interesting things that we'll keep an eye on as we move through the remainder of this season, then as we inch closer to the draft in the spring. But it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Hump Day Show is brought to you by Pluckers, Nicholson, Bluebonnet, Dine and Carry Out, 24 flavors of award-winning jumbo chicken wings, ice cold draft beer, full-service bar, and sports on TV. It's Pluckers, where if you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird. Okay, we'll knock out a break. Come back and we'll chat with Russ Mitchell. With 4 SEC games this weekend postponed, we have a very skeleton slate to preview. We will look back at this past weekend of games and then look ahead at what is to come. Russ Mitchell joins us next on Hump Day edition of AFR, presented by Pluckers.
AFR.
If you need a roof repair or a roof replacement, Premier South Roofing is here to help. PremierSouthLA.com, PremierSouthLA.com. They service much of South Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, and the North Shore if you stay on that I-12 corridor. It's Premier South Roofing. You can check them out online. You can see pictures of their work. You can see great testimonials from people like you and me who've called Premier South Roofing and trusted them to protect the roof, literally the roof over their family's head. It's Premier South Roofing. And hail, high wind, heavy rain, the damaging storms that came through, and if you've not yet called your insurance company, you can let Premier South Roofing handle that. They can handle everything from the moment you call them to taking care of calling the insurance company, meeting with the insurance adjuster, getting your roof approved, and all you pay is your deductible. It's Premier South Roofing. Learn more online at PremierSouthLA.com, PremierSouthLA.com. Baton Rouge, Lafayette, Lake Charles, and the North Shore. It's Premier South Roofing.
Hey, T-Bob, sports wouldn't be the same without the die-hard fans, so we're highlighting the fans that do it the most.
Every week, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge brings you the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week. Check it out, 1045ESPN.com.
It's the Citizens Bank Fan of the Week.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner. Keep
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
I think Russ is going to be a great coach.
Russ Mitchell.
Kicking the tires and lighting the fires. Russ! Literally.
Well, I'm proud of Russ. I think Russ deserves it.
If they give you a nickname, you're good.
Rusty, come on up here. I'm getting tired of saying Tigers. There's too many Tigers in the league already.
I want you to stay here and take care of things, Russ.
You know, I mean, they're going to run this kid around like a rented step-headed mule.
You know, I haven't had much of a chance to talk to you man to man, Russ.
I'm a guy who spends all day breaking down Kentucky football.
Not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in our living room.
And I'm calling you out, man. We'll cut this clip and send it out there to Spurrier and the fellas.
It's like Troy.
Take it, Russ.
All right, we do it every Wednesday. Russ Mitchell, college football news, joins us. He's on Twitter at Russ Mitchell CFB. How are you?
Kicking tires and lighting fires.
You just texted me because Russ. So we have a weird thing with our phone where sometimes you hear an echo. I don't know what happens. We haven't been able to isolate why that problem exists. It happens on some calls, not all. But if you dial us, there is no echo. So Russ dials us because his phone is one of the ones that has an echo.
Do you know who that was that just gave the intro? Man, you are slow. Do it again, Ruff. Kicking tires and lighting fires. Touchdown, Jesus, baby.
What is Ruffin doing?
He has a question for you.
Okay.
All right, Matt. So obviously with the with no game this weekend, we're packed with reservations every weekend. You need to call me and get. You owe Russ a big dinner, big wine, big whiskey.
No, I don't. He owes me.
Yes, you do.
He owes me 3.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Yeah, we made a bet on Clemson Notre Dame, and I want to pay up this weekend.
You owe me 3 dinners.
By
the way, wait, is Ruffin there?
No, he's on the phone, man.
I'm right here, buddy. Hey, Matt.
Wait, hold on. Did you conference Ruffin into this conversation?
Yeah.
I was so confused. I was like, wait a minute. Why is Ruffin in Arizona with you right now?
Because I'm a good guy, but no, he's not here. I thought go straight to the source. I knew the restaurant was going to be crowded this weekend because there's no game.
Okay. So I got an idea. We bet Clemson Notre Dame straight up?
Yes.
Okay. So I had Clemson, you had Notre Dame, and we bet dinner at Rufino's. That's what we bet?
Yes.
Okay. So you already owe me 2 Rufino's dinners. Hold on. No. My turn, my show. And you're going to owe me another one come December 31st, midnight. So do we just reduce what you owe me, or do we go 3 nights in a row where you buy me 3, and then I buy you one.
Well, I know what roofing But I say we go every time, and we start with you taking me out.
No, that's stupid. I've already won 2, and the third is essentially cinched before you won 1. So you have to pay up yours before I pay up mine. This is patently absurd. Why would I pay? You're like, this happened with Colada a few years ago. Colada and I have a bet on like Catholic and Parkview, and he loses, never pays up. The next year Parkview wins or something, or you high.
I pay up.
And that Monday or the next day, boom, I had him a gift card to go to the dinner spot he wanted.
This was never supposed to be this long. Russ, I'll talk to you later, man.
Real quick, Matt, I got one good thing about it. Last week, Mr. William Bill Goldring, who owns Sazerac, one of your big sponsors, who also has Buffalo Trace, who makes Pappy Van Winkle.
Yeah.
I
told him about you, told him about Russ, the whole deal. We may have a bottle of Pappy coming in the night Russ comes in.
Woo! Let's do it, man. Save me a pour. I'm ready.
Guys.
I'm ready.
Hey, make that reservation under Moscona.
I will. All right, guys. Have fun.
See you. That's Ruff and Rodri. Did you just try to sabotage me on my own show?
Yes, there's no try, man.
I could
do or do not. There is no try.
I could really hang up on you right now.
You could hang up on me all you want, man.
Okay, so but us having dinner requires you to bring yourself here. And you're living in you're like, you're Bubble Boy. So I don't know that we're ever going to have dinner again. I may never see you again.
I'm on the way, man.
I don't believe you. Okay, so last weekend, let's recap and then we'll look forward. So Georgia, Florida was the big one. Honestly, Russ, I went to New Orleans for the weekend. I watched so little. When LSU has their open date, I check out for a weekend. I did see some of that game. Florida just is so much clearly better than Georgia?
Well, I think we both thought Florida was the better team going in. Georgia, the one starting safety was out, then they lost. Lewis went down or ejected at the start of the second for targeting, and you're playing Kyle Trask. You can't lose your 2 starting safeties against a cat that wants to throw it deep down the middle all game long anyway, and that's what you got. And then Bennett separates his shoulder or had the AC joint. But look, even before Bennett went out, he finished 5 of 16 for 76 yards and a touchdown. It's like like 32%, 31%? You're not winning. Do you realize this was the first year in 14 years in this rivalry, the world's largest outdoor cocktail party, where the team with the most rushing yards didn't win?
Oh, that is a good stat. Oh, but Zamir White had like 75 on the first carry.
You know what? At the end of the day, here's the bottom line. Georgia had 100 yards passing. What does Kirby Smart think?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, listen, I was on the radio and Georgia I lost it, man. I lost it. Like, I don't know. It's reached the point where you got to start, even people that are trying to be neutral, you got to, call this out, man. Like, what? I like Kirby. He's a nice guy. I like Les. Les is a nice guy, too. But at some point, it's like, come on, man. And even more so now, because the college there's no way you can pretend that you don't know that you need a quarterback who can light it up.
Yeah, that's true. So, Florida, you think runs the table?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I like Florida. I just put out my do we call it mid-season? My mid-season Heisman ballot. And I have Kyle Trask at the top of my Heisman ballot.
Okay. All right. 474 and 4 touchdowns against Georgia. That'll help. All right. Let's. Another thing that I know you were particularly passionate about is what happened in Columbia, South Carolina. A&M went on the road and trucked the Gamecocks 48-3.
I thought it was. And again, I never say this lightly because everyone points to the coaches and says what their salaries are. When a coach gets fired, there's so many other people that lose their jobs usually, and I recognize it's a serious, serious thing. But, dude, this has been 5 years, bro. 5 years this cat's been there. And in his last 11 losses, 7 of them have been by 3 touchdowns or more. It's not like he just loses. He gets dump trucked. He got dump trucked by LSU this year. This year's LSU team, not last year's LSU team. This year's team.
They're pretty good.
I mean, it's been 5 years, and for a defensive guy to have your defense just quit on you 2 games in a row, I think it's time to pull the string midseason and go out and you get a jump, you get a head start on going out and looking for the next coach. And, I think it's time to pull the trigger.
Who would you hire?
The thing is, he has a great reputation. He has a great relationship with the administrator, so I doubt they do it. Hugh Freeze, that's who I go hire.
Yeah, if I'm Hugh Freeze, I wouldn't take that job. There's 100 jobs I can get that are better than that one.
Well, I don't think you're getting a job in. I don't think you're getting a job in Georgia, Mississippi, or Louisiana, or Texas.
I don't think he's going to get a job in the SEC. But
you can't put hookers on the company card. You can't do that. That's a bad look.
Yeah.
I think
Bobby Petrino had a co-ed on the back of a motorcycle, and he got another gig.
Yeah, but that's a co-ed on the back of a moped, or a motorcycle.
It's all jumbled in the same. I mean,
it's the company card thing. It's not a good look, man. That's not.
None of it's a good look. I mean,
Hugh Freeze is a dynamic offensive coach.
Yeah,
and
he's not taking that job though. I wouldn't take that job.
I wouldn't take that job either. Yeah. Actually, not if I was you.
All right. So, who cares about Mississippi State, Vanderbilt? Arkansas beats Tennessee. More impressed with Arkansas or perplexed by Pruitt's faceplant?
No, Arkansas. I mean, we talked about this. Arkansas should be 4-2 right now, and that's an epic turnaround for a team where they were last year. And then, it's not like he took over Alabama. I mean, there's not a lot of talent on that team, right? I mean, there's probably 2 guys that start, 2 or 3 guys. Well, there's a small number of guys starting on that team that start on most SEC teams. So, certainly the top tier team. So for him to come in and basically be 4-2, I'm really impressed with what they're building out there with the Hawks.
Russ Mitchell's with us, college football news.
Can I just throw one last thing before you ask the next one? And it's discipline, man, brother. They went from being, in the last 4 years, they had -20 turnover margin, right? I mean, they just were undisciplined team. This year, they're +8. They're a disciplined team playing good defense, and, hats off.
So we only have 3 games in the league still on the docket. But I want to talk about those when we come back, and also looking ahead into December, because it looks like we're going to go deep into December with this schedule. So we'll get to that when we come back.
And I want to talk about this LSU Alabama thing.
Okay, we'll do that. We'll start with that when we come back. All right, Russ Mitchell's with us, college football news. Brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com, new and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointvw.com. We'll continue with Russ next.
AFR.
If you have not called Insurance Network of Louisiana, short of coming to your home, getting down on my hands and knees and begging you to make this phone call, I'm not sure what else I could do. When I say to you that they will shop for free, I literally mean they'll shop for free. I changed my insurance to Insurance Network of Louisiana a handful of years ago. I have never swiped a credit card with Insurance Network of Louisiana. They get paid only if they're able to find you better coverage, less money, and they get paid on the insurance side of things. Y'all, literally the worst thing that can happen is they go shop independently for free and come back to you and say, hey, the coverage you have right now is perfect. Stick with that. That's the worst thing that can happen. Or maybe they save you money and get you better coverage. 293-0450. Make the call today. 293-0450. 293-0450 for Insurance Network of Louisiana. 293-0450.
T-Bob Hebert here with breaking news. Front to Back Boat Services is the shop to upgrade your boat tech this fall. With not 1 but 2 NMEA certified techs, who better to install your Panoptic sonar, your HD displays, You want to see the fish under the water before you even cast? They have that. Trolling motor. You could control with your iPhone. They have that. So what are you waiting for? Get into front-to-back boat services right now. Upgrade your boat tech. Make your boating dreams come true. Front-to-back boat services.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
You may not know about the 4Kids Foundation, but you've probably heard of the Zurich Classic. And the Zurich Classic exists because of 4 kids. But it's what happens after the tournament that really counts. 100% of the proceeds are donated by the 4Kids Foundation to hundreds of local charities, totaling more than $40 million, all to help local children and families in need. 4Kids helps kids through golf, because every child deserves a shot at a brighter future.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, we continue with Russ Mitchell college football news, brought to you by South Point Volkswagen, southpointbw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at southpointbw.com. Pick you up an Atlas like I drive. Check them out, southpointbw.com. Okay, Russell, by the way, you texted me that you are miffed about having to pay long distance for calling long distance. It's a cell phone, bro. It's a cell phone. There's no long distance anymore. Well, did you run out of minutes?
You can't get your phone engineer's thing fixed out, whatever.
Hey, man, look, we've been in this studio 3 years.
Whatever.
I have fought that battle with the cracking and the popping on the phones and the echo. I've fought that for 3 years, man. Anyway, we make the best of with what we got, but what we got is really nice. I mean, the studio's awesome.
It is a nice studio.
But the phone situation is perplexing. Okay, LSU Bama's not going to happen.
Yep.
Did you want this game to happen?
What a stupid I mean, it is so funny to me that, like, people are saying, first of all, of course I want this game because I make a living out of talking about football games.
Thank you.
So I need football games to talk about. And this would have been such a butt whipping. You could have talked about this for a couple weeks. But I think the thing that I can understand why, if you're an LSU fan, you probably didn't want to have to listen to your Alabama neighbor talk about this game. But you know, think about if you're a player, man. If you're a kid and I mean, Alabama, this is the game you circle and the game you look forward to, and you might only get – it's not like you're going to play for 4 years. If you're good enough to play as a freshman, to really play, you're not going to be around your senior year probably. So – and most kids aren't, so you're lucky if you're playing, 2 years. You're lucky if you get 2 games against where you're playing meaningful minutes. 2 games against Alabama, 2 games against, Florida. You want to play those games. So, it does bring into question why you're going to parties for Halloween. Except that, that's why you try not to wager on children because they don't often think with their common sense.
What do you think the league will do with the schedule?
You mean will they push it back into December?
Well, they're gonna have a slate of games on December the 29th or December the 19th. I think the question is, does LSU Bama move to next weekend, or does LSU Bama move to December the 5th, and then you move the LSU Ole Miss game to December 19th?
I don't think Bama's going to want to play the. I don't know. Maybe they do. Maybe their thinking is that they've got the game plan worked out, and they'd rather play LSU now before LSU has more time to have their younger kids play. Alabama probably wants to play then. They told us before the season started, what was the word that we heard out of Birmingham over and over and over again? Flexibility. So, you got to be flexible. If you're LSU, you desperately want to play this game. You need the money, man. I mean, that's another thing to consider is we've got games. We need the games to be played to make money. No one wants to be $50 million in the hole, right?
LSU's 80.
Yeah, well, every game you're not playing, it's, more money. So we've already played a few. We lost the one. I just said we did.
You did it twice. Oh, boy, brain. Hey, you owe us another one. There were 2. There it is.
Yeah.
Got it.
So I mean, you can't play. What are you going to do? Play Alabama on the 12th? I know it's such a mess, man. I don't know. Just whatever games they put in front of me, I'm watching.
LSU already got Florida on the 12th. And the other thing about here's what I think is going to happen, Russ. I think LSU is going to play at Arkansas next weekend, and then they're going to play A&M.
I agree.
And then on December the 5th, where LSU is scheduled to play Ole Miss, they're going to play Bama in Baton Rouge, and then
switch the Ole Miss game to the 19th.
Ole Miss goes to the 19th. Bama is scheduled to play Arkansas on the 5th. I think they just bump that back a week to December the 12th, so that way Bama and Florida are both playing on the 12th, the week before the SEC championship game, because you don't want Florida to be playing LSU and Bama to have a bye.
Yeah, such a great dynamic of this season, this year, that scheduling has become almost as important as matchups.
Yeah, I mean, well, look at what's going to happen if that plays out. Russ, LSU is going to end up going Texas A. He's going to play at Texas A&M, home against Bama,
at Bama, at Florida.
No, home against Bama, at Florida.
Yes. So basically, the 3 top 10 teams back to back to back.
Back to back, 2 of them on the road. That's not good.
Be careful what you wish for, man.
Let's look at we wanted this season. Let's go tee it up and play. All right, let's see. Let's look at the 3 games. Let's start with what is the best game on the slate, which is Arkansas at Florida. Who would have thought we would have said that? But Felipe Franks going back to Gainesville. It's a 17.5-point spread. What do you think? What's his yes, sir. Sam Pittman. I was trying to think, what was his catchphrase? Yes, sir. No, Sam Pittman.
Yes, sir. Sam Pittman. Sam Pittman obviously not going to be on the sideline from the COVID. So, but folks, the COVID. Hey, I heard Coach O say it that way too, and I was like, hey, Coach O.
The COVID.
The COVID.
Or you can pluralize it. The COVID.
Do you realize Felipe Franks is completing 67% of his passes with 14 touchdowns and only 3 picks?
He's got a good coach.
And 2 of them were in that opener against Georgia, which, has a decent defense. And at that point, a good secondary. So, Felipe Frank's going to end up being one of these, Driscoll / Jacoby Brissett guys who quits Florida and goes somewhere else and ends up making it to the NFL, man. It's ridiculous. Look, at the end of the day, We've talked about it. Really impressed with what Arkansas has been able to do, but they're not keeping up with Kyle Trask, man. That cat is on fire. You know, the first quarterback in SEC history to throw 4 touchdown passes in 5 straight games. Yes, obviously, some of that has to do with how the nature of the sport has changed, but it still is what it is, man. Yeah. You are what your record says you are, and it's, 5 straight games of 4 touchdowns at least in each. He's averaging nearly 400 yards a game with 22 touchdowns and 3 interceptions, man. That's Burrow-esque. We're more than halfway through the season. Careful. It's all SEC opponents. Careful. That's very, very, very good.
Very good.
And Arkansas can't keep up with that.
South Carolina at Ole Miss. Can you believe
I can't believe we have to talk about this. We got to make this like
I'm going to blow your mind.
All right.
The Ole Miss defense, which is poor. Ole Miss is an 11-point favorite in this ballgame.
Yeah, it's because South Carolina can't keep up.
I understand that, but I'm just telling you that's stunning that Ole Miss, with that defense, is an 11-point favorite in a conference game.
Nothing cures a mediocre offense like playing Ole Miss, which has, by the way, only given up. Are you trying to say that you think there's a wager in that line? Is that what you're trying to say?
Did you say nothing cures a mediocre offense like Ole Miss?
Nothing cures a mediocre offense like playing Ole Miss's defense.
Got it. I thought you could say the same thing with South Carolina.
They've only given up fewer than 400 yards once.
I really can't laugh because LSU stinks too.
Yeah, but that's really bad. That's really, really, really bad. You can kind of appreciate where LSU is and why they're there, and it's not an excuse. But Ole Miss is just look. An interesting thing. Do you realize everyone? Obviously, their offense is good. The Lane Train offense is rolling, and they're second best in the conference behind Bama. But they actually lead the SEC in rushing. And
I believe that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. South Carolina, their run defense, they have been giving up 200 yards since October. 200 yards a game, the rushing. So, this is not a good matchup for South Carolina. They're a team that's lost its way. I would be shocked if they still have the same coach by January. So, I don't know, man. 11? I think I might take Ole Miss there.
Yeah, I wouldn't have any problem laying that number. I'm just pointing out how bad South Carolina is. That Ole Miss with that defense is a double-digit favorite. It's just stunning.
Yeah.
The only other one is Kentucky Vanderbilt. Give me one reason why I should spend one moment of my life watching that game.
Football.
Football. It's football.
It's football, man. What are you gonna do?
All right,
hang out with the wife? It's football.
Right.
Ken Seals is hitting. He hit Ole Miss for 319 yards. He hit State for 336 yards. There's been way too many interceptions. And Vandy's problem is that they're Vandy.
You just dropped Ken Seals like people are going to know who that is.
Ken Seals is the freshman quarterback for Vanderbilt.
And LSU played him. And people, I guarantee you, still have no idea who that is. That seems like a lifetime ago.
Ken Seals. That was back when you still had hope.
Oh, maybe so. Yeah. After beating Vandy, what was it, 41-7, I think people left that day going, okay. Yeah, last week was an anomaly. It was the slap in the face, but figure some things out. Stingley's back.
Tiger fans are so delusional. They walked away from the South Carolina game thinking that there was hope.
I don't know about that. I think people left that game
thinking South Carolina's really bad.
Yeah, but also but thinking maybe this team inadvertently found something in TJ Finley. Unexpectedly, I should say, found something in TJ Finley. Because Max Johnson, quite honestly, was the freshman quarterback everybody talked about all offseason.
Can I just, on that subject, I just want to say, I still think the ceiling for TJ Finley is, really, really high.
I agree.
I think, first freshman road game with a porous offensive line and a defense that can't help you out. I mean, I think our expectations might have been a little too high.
Yeah.
Off of South Carolina. We did talk about that maybe we should tab it down just a wee bit because it was South Carolina.
Yeah, I know. Just a bummer.
Lace them tight, man. Lace them tight. Go out there and take your whipping because y'all have a very hard stretch in front of you.
Get Arkansas first.
I think LSU loses to Ole Miss. I don't think you can keep up with them.
Look, come on, man. Everybody can score on Ole Miss. But you might have to win that one 52-49.
That's my point.
I get it. But don't say you can't keep up with it. But, I mean.
Oh, my God. They're going to score every time they touch the ball. Unless they turn it over.
Have you watched Ole Miss's defense?
Unless they turn it over, that offense, as efficient as it is going to score every time against LSU's defense.
And they're not going to.
Every time they touch the
ball.
ball.
And Ole Miss isn't going to. Ole Miss's defense isn't going to stop LSU.
I don't have as much faith in LSU's offense to be able to score every time they touch the ball. So I say Ole Miss wins by 7. We can save it. We can save it for. We can save it for December.
We got a month. He's
we
Russ.
Got a lot of
he's Russ Mitchell, College Football News on Twitter at Russ Mitchell CFP. Thank you, Russ.
Hey, the reservation's under Moscona. Don't forget.
And you're paying first. We'll see you later. It is after further review. Glad you are with us here. Let me remind you about the Williamson Eye Center and WilliamsonEYE.com. 924-2020, 924-2020, or WilliamsonEYE.com. I cannot stress this enough. It is so seldom in life, so rare in life, that you could do something that does change the way you see life, literally. That's the Williamson Eye Center. If you have vision issues, if you're like me, if you were born genetically with bad eyes, my sister, poor darling, she had glasses when she was 5 years old. My brother was blind as a bat. I was blind as a bat. None of us can see. We have awful eyes genetically, all of us. And the Williamson Eye Center has given me the gift of sight. I no longer need contacts or glasses. I'm seeing 20/15 better than 20/20. My dad just recently went to Williamson Eye Center and had a lens replacement with Dr. Blake Williamson. No matter what your refractive issue is, the Williamson Eye Center has a solution for you. Just go for that consultation. Brand new, gorgeous location on the Baton Rouge General Campus. WilliamsonEYE.com, WilliamsonEYE.com. And congrats to Dr. Blake Williamson, named Baton Rouge Business Report's 40 under 40 class this year. Awesome dude who I trusted with my eyes, and you should as well. WilliamsonEYE.com or call 924-2020, 924-2020 for the Williamson Eye Center. Okay, let's see. Last thing we got to do. We'll knock out a final break. Come back to Otter Locks. Jimmy Ott will jump aboard with us here. You got a 3-pack of Maction games tonight. Eastern Michigan against Ball State, Central Michigan against Northern Illinois, and Toledo against Western Michigan. So if you're just a college football junkie or you love Maction or you need a little action on the game, you got Maction coming up. We'll preview it with Jimmy Ott with a little Otter Locks, tell you where to place your money tonight, and we'll do what we learned. Glad you're with us here. One segment to go on a Hump Day edition of AFR presented by Pluckers.
AFR.
If you're thinking of selling your home, call Darren James and get your home sold. I could tell you plenty about Darren. I could tell you about his work ethic, which is unmatched. I could tell you about the systems he has in place to get your home sold faster for more money. I could tell you about how Darren has been at listings at 11 p.m. just to change a light bulb because they had a showing. I could tell you so many things about Darren and working with Darren that set him apart. But really what you need to know is nobody sells more homes than Darren. So let the realtor that sells more homes than anyone sell your home. 335-7666. That's Darren's cell phone. Call him right now. Text him right now. Say, hey, Darren, what's up? Heard Moscona talking about you. 335-7666. That's Darren's cell number. Text him right now. Just go, hey, Darren, Moscona was talking about you. What's up? 335-7666. Or you can log on to agent225.com. Remember, if you're buying or selling, if it's commercial or residential, think real estate, think Darren James.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Auctioner.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information.
After further review with Matt Moscona, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria. Presented by Plucker's Wing Bar. Open till midnight or later every night of the week, where every Monday is all-you-can-eat wings. Plucker's Wing Bar. If you don't like our wings, we'll give you the bird.
All right, wrapping up. Let's do Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
Joined now by the one and only, the man, the myth, the legend, the degenerate Oddfather himself, Jimmy Ott. How are you, Otter?
Maction! We got Maction! Yes, indeed.
How'd you do last night?
Oh, 1-2. Not so great. But
awesome.
We got a little sweat. Middle of the week pick. Hey, we'll take what we can get.
I hear you, man.
So, but it's something. It's something they're playing. And it's pretty wise by that. You don't think more eyeballs are on the MAC on the MAC at Tuesday, Wednesday games than buried into a full Saturday slot. So
true.
Hey, we're watching them. So everybody's got to survive somehow. Here's some little stats for you, Matthew. How about odds to win a Super Bowl after this past weekend? Where do you think the Saints are in the pecking order?
Third.
Very good. They moved up to third behind Kansas City and Baltimore.
Nailed
Here's
it.
NFL Rookie of the Year. Where's Burrow?
First.
Dead heat for first with Justin Herbert right now.
I'm a little disappointed to hear that about Herbert. Now, grant you I'm impossibly biased, but Burrow stepped into an absolute steaming pile of dog poo and has actually made them competitive. And Herbert's team keeps losing close games.
Yeah, but Anthony Lynn's going to write a book when this is all said and done. 52 ways to lose games in the last 5 minutes. So, I mean, And Lawrence Last, our old coach, Lawrence Last, they're 0-7 straight up. What do you think they are against the spread, Matt?
0-7.
There you go.
They've gotten blown out every single week. It's stunning.
And, I mean, when you lay 40 and you don't sweat with Oklahoma, that's something. And how about the Akron Zips? They cover for the first time in a long time now. They still have lost 19 in a row, but they're coming. They're going to get one this year. Let's go, Zips.
All right, what are we looking at tonight? Any of these games pique your interest?
Yes, indeed. Ball State is down to 8.5 over Eastern Michigan. Slight lean to Ball State in that one. Go fight Letterman. Central Michigan against Northern Illinois. Northern Illinois did not. They hung in there a little bit with Buffalo. Comparative scores last night. Buffalo rolled against a decent Miami, Ohio team. Central Michigan beat Ohio. Ohio struggled against those Zips of Akron. This line went from 9.5 to 6.5 because of those comparative scores last night. We still like the Huskies at home plus 6.5. And the big steamer tonight, Sparks are on Western Michigan. The public is on Toledo. It's been going back and forth, but it's down to 1.5. Western Michigan. WMU minus the 1.5. Man.
I love it. Where are y'all tonight?
Hey, listen, and I've got over 338.5 total points for the whole 2 days. So pull per point. Okay? City Slice Pints and Pizza. Former Marine, Roscoe's with us.
There we go.
Former fellow student, Rabelais is sitting in with us live for the second hour, talking a lot of Masters. You know, he was doing the print stuff when I was spinning vinyl at KLSU. So we're back on campus at City Slice, right across the street from where, you know, I used to hang out in this place when I think it was the library. But now it's City Slice, Pints and Pizza.
I guys got jokes tonight. All right, Otto, y'all have a good show.
I'm here all night, man.
We appreciate it, man. We'll see you later.
Thank you, man.
That is Jimmy Ott. Game Time with Jimmy Ott follows us in Baton Rouge. Monday. Hump Day shows are brought to you by Pluckers. Nichols and Bluebonnet Dine and Carry Out. Jimmy Ott follows us next. Brain, what did you learn?
Drew Brees is a top 5 all-time vague answer guy.
Paul, what did you learn?
Lane Kiffin thinks the SEC is full of chickens.
Matt, what'd you learn?
I learned that Russ Mitchell knows how to do a 3-way conference call. How do you do that? Like, Ruffin just popped up on the show. It's so odd. Y'all have an awesome night. We'll see you tomorrow at 3. Jimmy's next.
AFR.
As we get on down the road, remind you about the aesthetic medicine and anti-aging clinics of Louisiana, Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge, Ambassador Caffery in Lafayette, and online at theantiagingclinics.com. Speaking of Lafayette, tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow is the day. Tomorrow is the day. If you live in Lafayette or know someone who lives in Lafayette, make sure they are aware the Lafayette Christmas in November is tomorrow. Last week was Baton Rouge. Tomorrow, Lafayette. All day long. They'll take a little break in the middle of the day for lunch and to kind of push the reset button, and they'll go until the last person leaves. The best single-day specials of the entire year, best prices of the entire year for one day, and everyone that comes through the door gets a scratch-off, which will give you something for free. Everyone who goes is going to get something for free or deeply discounted. It's at the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Christmas in November at the Lafayette location is tomorrow. Again, learn more online at theantiagingclinics.com. Theantiagingclinics.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Do you know someone who sets a good example for all of us to follow? Someone who shows leadership, selflessness, and service to their community without being asked? We think that's the definition of a good citizen, and so does Citizens Bank and Trust. If you know someone who exhibits all of these qualifications, nominate them for a Good Citizen Award, and they could receive $500 from Citizens Bank. And we'll recognize them here on the show. Get the details at citizensbankandtrust.com, and then nominate your good citizen.
I'm feeling good. So good. I just thought you should know.
What do Honda lovers look forward to this time of year? Aside from family, turkey, and pie,
Happy Honda Days at Richards Honda. It's that time of year when everything is at clearance prices. And since we're stocked up on inventory, you'll have plenty to choose from. Over 700 in stock at transparent prices. Happy Honda Days makes happy customers. Come see why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Toyotathon is happening now at Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Get into a 20 Camry for $297 a month.
So come on down to Happy Town for Toyotathon. That's Corval Toyota in Opelousas.
Happy Town, USA.